All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Jared Singer Extravaganza, where we interview male porn stars. Tonight's guest is... I'm just kidding. We don't interview male porn stars. Although I don't think I'm against interviewing a male porn star. It's not something we've ever done on the podcast. But I did get a phone call from a buddy the other day, and he's like, Jared, you got guns? And I was like, yeah, I got guns. And he was like, bro, I bought some guns and I've been shooting them, and I need to know, what do you clean them with? And I sent him over to Shooter Lube, one of the sponsors for the podcast. No shit. You can go to shooterlube.com. That's what I told him. Go to shooterlube.com and use promo code SINGER to save 10% at checkout. And actually, I found out, I keep doing this, I keep fucking this up, it's actually 15%. And he was like, no shit. And I was like, yeah, bro. And then if you do that and you order the fucking mat, you'll be over $35 and you'll get free shipping. And he was like, what? And then he did it. Yeah. That's actually a true story. Anyways, today's guest is Derek Grant, phenomenal lead guitarist from a band called Uncle Daddy. I've seen these guys play a couple times. Joey Moy has been on the podcast twice now, once for episode 100. By the way, we did do episode 100. I know it wasn't live. I apologize. If you guys missed it live, the replay is up. We had some weird internet shit going on in the area. And I don't really understand what was happening, but basically from about noon, which is when those guys showed up, through about 7 or 8 p.m., which was right after we ended the podcast, all of that, the internet was just down in the entire area. I don't know what the fuck was going on. They didn't report any outages, but whatever. So we recorded it, threw it up now. It's on the YouTube channel. If you guys haven't seen it, whatever. It's there. Other than that, yeah, I got nothing. If you guys haven't already, please hit like, subscribe, and join the Patreon at patreon.com/JaredSingerLive. I appreciate any donations or monthly memberships. It's how we keep this thing going. It's how we keep the gear up. How we're going to make more upgrades and do even cooler shit in the future. We can't do this without you guys' love and support. So at a minimum, please at least hit that big red button on the YouTube and hit subscribe to that. We're still on that grind to 1,000 subscribers. But yeah, that's all I got for you today. So with no further ado, please welcome to the podcast, Derek Grant from Uncle Daddy. And boom, we are live, my friend.
All right. Sweet.
Daddy D is in the house, baby. How are you, sir?
I'm feeling great hanging out with Jared Singer.
Oh, that's fucking flattering. Thank you, sir.
Oh, of course.
Thanks for coming down, bud.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, we've been hanging out for a little bit. We've been fucking getting to know each other and fucking telling some cool stories, sharing some music back and forth. And
yep, getting
I'm
deep.
excited, man.
I'm very excited.
Already had Joey on the podcast once.
Yes.
And had him on again on Saturday for episode of 100 for the 4 Dorkmen of the Apocalypse. Your singer was gracious enough to join us. He's a lovely fella.
Oh, gracious.
Let me finish spearing this bitch right.
If there's a camera, he's happy to be there. Don't even think for a minute. Camera? I'm here.
So, everybody's curious.
All right.
How and why you came up with such a great band name.
Oh,
so, and you were like,
question.
and we'll save that one. We'll save that one. Because you get asked that a lot too, you said.
Yeah. So, Uncle Daddy. So, every summer, Dan, our bass player, graciously hosts about 20. Oh, no, not 20, but I think we've had 20 boys before. Gets all of our best buddies up to his mom's cabin in Lake Superior, and she cooks for our drunken, stony asses for 3 days. And one year, we had his brother-in-law was up there, and he was talking about a kid in his high school class that was a dunkle. And which is also a translation for Uncle Daddy, where basically...
Daddy uncle in that case.
And I'm going to probably butcher this story, but basically the guy had a kid with his girlfriend, and then she left him for his brother. So basically he fathered the child and then became the kid's uncle at the same time.
Yep.
And that was a weekend where we all decided we were going to do some funny mushrooms. And
some old mushy therapy.
So some mushy therapy for the boys. And
we never talk about mushrooms on this podcast.
Never.
We've never once.
No, and it was a good time. And in that time, our buddy Corey, we were playing beer darts on mushrooms. Have you ever played
beer darts on mushrooms?
No, just beer darts in general.
Hold on. Beer darts. No, I played lawn darts.
Okay.
And I played beer pong.
Okay.
Is beer darts the same thing as those two combined?
It's a little bit different. So it's
but not a lot of bit different.
It involves a circle of boys or girls who wants to play. And it usually requires 1 to 2 steel tip darts. You sit in a circle and then lay a freshly tasty beer out in front of you. And then you have to try and hit other people's beer from a distance with that dart. And wherever it hits the can or body part, where you drink from, if you top the can and it starts spraying, you got to down the whole beer.
Oh.
Well, when you're on mushrooms, it gets pretty hard to focus, let alone throw a dart. And
so if you hit it down like here at the bottom, then you just wait for it to drain out, and you have to drink it from there to the bottom.
You start drinking it to where that dart is. And then you take the dart and you throw it. You can't throw it directly at the next person, but the person opposite of that person you can. Anyway, so we were failing very hard at beer darts.
Because it's so dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
I've
literally seen a guy take a dart freaking shaft deep to the kneecap.
Shout out to Brad. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
And howdy, Brad. And
ooh, look at that 5150.
Ooh.
Our kilobytes per second were exactly 5150.
Oh, look at that. Calling out the white gibbies. Thanks, Brad. I like my white guitars. You got a pink sparkly one coming too. But we
hey, you showed me that.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. So
if there's any audio issues or anything, you guys make sure you throw me a message in chat. If there's any issues with the feed, call me. Most of you fucks got my number anyways.
Yeah. So, and I've seen a guy take one full on in between the toes. I digress. We were not doing well at beer darts on mushrooms, and our buddy Corey just got sick of it. He's our big, sexy Viking merch guy. So if you ever come to a show and you see him with muscles as big as, shout out to Corey, a Cadillac, that's him. And he said enough's enough and started gutting everybody's beer with the darts. And started showering himself with beer, and everybody was like,
band, by the way?
Which one?
Enough's Enough.
No.
That's a name. That's a thing. Enough Enough.
I believe it.
Sorry, keep going.
No, it's good.
A similar story is how that band found their name, by the way.
So, anyways, everybody was like, oh, the spirit of Uncle Daddy is coming through Corey right now. He is here, which is actually a song of ours that we don't really play.
He is here?
Yep, and then it was in that circle of tripping good times that we were like, we should start fucking rock band. And so like Dan,
you were already a musician though, so people understand this. You didn't just like shit out this idea one day, we should start a band and call it Uncle Daddy. You were already...
No, I never picked up a guitar in my life. I did mushrooms once and all of a sudden I was good at guitar. I don't know. It was crazy. And then none of us were musicians. No, actually Weber, Papa Webb's our drummer, and
so yeah, your daddy D.
Yeah, that was not as
Papa Webb's.
Yeah, Papa Webb's, and then Dan. Danny Boy. We just call all names. Daddy D is not a self-proclaimed nickname.
It should be Captain Dan.
Captain Dan. Then we got Skip.
But it was Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan.
Okay, it's got to be Lieutenant
Dan.
It's got to be Lieutenant Dan. All right, let's fill out the roster.
Yeah. Okay. So
we got Daddy D.
Papa
Webb.
Yep, Dan.
From now on, it's Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan.
This started here, motherfuckers.
Yes.
Okay.
And then Joey.
Okay. And then
it's Skip.
Okay, Skip. It's Captain Skip.
Yeah. Yep. Captain Skip. Skipper.
Skipper makes more sense. Just leave it at. And then so what is Joey? What do we call Joey?
Joey. Uncle Joey. Fucking what's that show? I'm thinking Full House, yeah. Uncle
Joey.
Yeah. We love our Joey. We sure do. But yeah, so Webert And Dan and I, so our drummer and bass player, we actually grew up together.
You mean Papa Webb and
Papa
Lieutenant
Webb,
Dan?
Lieutenant Dan. I got to stick with the code names. We actually grew up together in central Wisconsin, and our high school bands used to play shows together.
Okay.
Fast forward past college, into adult life. We're like, we should start a band together. Why didn't we ever start one? And so it started as a 3-piece, just the three of us. After that, and
it
then
was a ZZ Top cover band.
No. It was just like a ZZ Top thing. It was just the three of us. We're like, okay.
Oh, so it was like, okay.
Yeah, we got enough guys for a 3-piece right now. We'll eventually need to find a
guitar,
singer,
bass, drums, and who was singing?
Nobody.
Okay.
It was just I can't sing. The other two dudes, not so much. And
that's a nice way of saying you also suck, you guys.
Yeah. Well, Dan is actually a decent background singer as well as Skip. Much better than I am.
I'm just kidding, you guys. I don't think you suck. I'm actually a huge fan of your band.
Well, thank you. That's very nice to hear. So
it's just customary we talk as much shit about each other as possible.
That's all right. I feel like I got a turn here and
yeah, there you go.
There we go. Face you.
There we go.
Get in there. Hold on. I got to get Ronald McDonald's huge nose cock
loosen
up
that
a little closer here. This one here.
Yep. And then put it where you want.
There we go. How's that? There we go, YouTube.
Yeah, get comfortable with it.
All right, cool.
I prefer the up.
The up?
No, see how mine's elbowing up?
Oh, like
but
this?
The last guy elbowed it down. Yeah, I like it to go up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you got. I got kind of this dick in the mouth thing. Yeah. You got kind of
it's actually it's also a dick in the mouth.
Yeah, it is. It's just a different angle.
Dicks in the mouth.
It's a different angle.
It's just a different dick, different angle. I got black dick in my mouth.
You got Ronald
American dick in your mouth. Oh my God. I'm native and black, so I can make both those jokes for real.
Oh my God.
I'm an eighth black and an eighth native and an eighth Jewish, so I make all the jokes. Fuckers.
There you have it.
Deal with it.
Holy shit. So yeah, we got it going, and then so we were kind of jamming, wrote a couple tunes. We're like, we need to really kind of round this thing out. We need a rhythm guitar player, and we need to find a singer. And being a musician yourself, you know how fucking hard it is to find anybody.
Yeah, we were just talking about that before the podcast. I need an entire rhythm section. No big deal.
Yeah,
just
no
arguably
big deal.
The most important part other than the singer. What do you do? Oh, I write rhythm guitar. Wait, aren't you the most worthless? Yup, in my own band.
But I'm here. I've showed up. But yeah, so
it is a bitch. So it started off the three of you.
Started out the three of us, and then we were kind of jamming for.
Wait, hold on, because you said so. It's you, Webb,
Dan,
and Dan.
Yep, the three of us. So we grew up together as young gentlemen out of central Wisconsin.
And Dan.
That's Skip.
That's Skip. Okay.
Yeah, he's our sailing. So
Dan is the bass player.
Dan's our bass player. Yes.
Okay. And Webb is the drummer still to this day.
Yes.
The original trio is all good.
Yep.
So at what point does Skip join the fold?
I want to say it had to have been at least...
Sorry, got the hiccups.
No, you're good, buddy. I got to say it was probably about 6 months maybe later. I'm really horrible with memory stuff.
Okay, so fairly early often.
Yeah, so he was buddies with us for a long time and never thought it a good idea to mention that he played guitar. And we all went to Monster Jam, if you guys are familiar.
Yeah, the monster truck thing at the Metrodome.
Yep. Well, it was at US Bank Stadium this time.
Oh, I suppose.
Big and fancy. So, as you know us, we love our outfits. We love jorts.
So that was already a thing before.
Jorts have been way back, high school days. So it's a thing that has. We brought Joey into the jorts fold. Joey has fully adopted this lifestyle.
Gotcha.
More so than any of us have.
He took it to the next level.
He's boy, I've really found myself in denim. I never knew. So yeah, he has really adopted it and taken it on. So we all went fully adorned in fucking April or winter time. I know it was cold. Cowboy boots, denims, cut off Harley shirts, and Corey, our handsome muscular merch man, was like, "You guys should talk to Dave. He plays guitar." And we just said, "Hey, you want to play guitar in the band?" He said yes, and that was it. And then we had put out several Facebook, social media things like, we need a singer, and I wish I had still the submissions that we got of people trying to sing over like our shitty demos. And
probably got one from my old singer.
I don't know. There was one guy that thought it was a good idea to like sing, like put the microphone in a Folgers tin can and then sing completely in a different time signature than what the song was.
Sounds exactly like something John Diley would do.
Could be. John, if you're out there, I'm sorry, bud. Didn't make the cut. But then Joey came along and saw some of the, our demos on YouTube, and he came over and immediately was mesmerized by us and how amazing we were. And he's like, holy shit, I've been living my life denimless, rock and roll-less, and now I need to like up my game. Then he grew out the hair. He showed up bald and it just, dumped out.
Those gorgeous locks didn't show up at audition?
No, they were there, but they were tucked. I'm just trying to make a point that it changed him. Daddy changed him in a good way. And so yeah, he came and it was a perfect fit, and we had our 5, and it just is the best group of guys I've ever played with. We can literally, we don't have the science to writing tunes is literally we're in a room for 3 hours once a week. Sometimes twice if we got a show, and one of us plays a riff, Webbs picks it up, and like all of our guys are just so solid. It's like if we start jamming something in G or B or whatever, everybody knows what's to play. And so songwriting just kind of came easy for this group of 5 dudes, and so it's just, that's how Uncle Daddy came to be.
It's dope, dude. I'm a huge
thank
fan,
you.
man.
I appreciate it.
I'm a huge fan of the band.
I wish I was cool as you with how you can just move this. Like, I got a thing,
you just get used to it.
I'm
but
like,
again, that the thing that works is it's the up, so it's always pointed at my mouth. Yours is below you, so you
I'm like, hello, hi.
You gotta follow it more.
I'm like, I can't get the coordination down. I'm like,
yeah,
what's up?
Yeah,
all good,
dude. It took me like several podcasts before I got comfortable with it, and yeah, now I move it out of the way when I'm trying to do something else. It is what it is. I annoy certain people that watch the podcast. They're like, stop touching your microphone. It drives me nuts.
I just want to tell you something right now.
Sorry, bud.
Yeah.
When people get really drunk, they start grabbing it like they're actually on stage.
Yeah.
That's when I know we're having fun, because they're like, listen, motherfuckers.
Hello, sir. I've got something to tell you.
No, you listen, you bitch. I love it. It's great, man.
Yeah. So it's a good time. Like, it's a really cool thing to be able to play rock music that, with your best buddies, especially guys that, you grew up with, and then you meet some other guys later in life. Joey is our transplant, and it's cool to have like one of your best friends be somebody that you met just a couple years ago.
Sure.
So yeah, it's a good chemistry.
Yeah, you guys have been doing shit for a while. Obviously, you just talked about that.
Yep.
But you're doing some really cool stuff now, and it's funny because when I met Joey, even before he came on the podcast, because I got a couple of industry cats I'm friends with.
Cool.
And I was like, dude, there's this cool band in town called Uncle Daddy. And he was like, oh yeah, we've heard of them. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, they're doing some good stuff. We got our eyes on. And then like literally all of a sudden last month, well, a few months ago I found out, but last month you guys did Rock Fest.
Yep.
And there's some hype building around you, and there's a lot of people really excited for what you are doing and what you're gonna do in the future.
Yeah.
So you guys did something really special. You played to the largest crowd on the opening day of Rock Fest. Is that correct?
From what I'm told, that's correct.
That's pretty fucking cool.
It's pretty rad. It was pretty neat. Like, we had Queensryche and Slaughter closing down the night there, and I don't really know what happened. All I know is that we got there and sound check was like 2 hours push back. So like we were supposed to do like an hour sound check, and it kind of turned into like 30 minutes, and which is fine. We just roll with it. We're like, whatever, we'll just fucking plug in and play. Just make sure, it's going out to the big speaks. And we're there. It's kind of rainy.
That's what happens when you guys have dope gear. You can be like, it's all good, man. Just fucking plug us in. When you got shit gear, you need everything to be perfect.
Yeah.
Or if you got overly complicated gear, because you and I talked about that as
Yeah.
well.
My setup's very simple.
I love it.
Yep. I like it simple. Turn it up. I got a very humble pedal board and just kind of crank the amp up and let it do its thing. But
so
yeah,
they fucked you on sound check.
No, they didn't fuck us on sound check. They actually were super great and like got us moved quick. It was kind of more,
They
I think.
fucked you in the booty holes. No, I'm just kidding.
No, no, it was great.
It was probably stressful, because you usually the way these things are run, it's almost like the military. Like, no, we got to get there at 8 a.m. because sound check's at 10 because show starts at 2. Things start, and then you're planning, going, okay, we're going to be done sound checking by like noon or whatever. Because when we talk about this, we're not talking about one band doing a 2-hour or 1-hour sound check. We're talking about several bands getting up there and backlining like the first half of the day.
Yeah.
And so mentally, usually whenever I went into those things, I'm like, okay, worst case scenario, I'm done sound checking by 11 or noon. I have 2 hours before the show starts, and I know we play at 2 or we play at 3 or we play at 4. So then I start backlogging, like, this is when I need to start warming up, this is when I need to start stretching, this is when I need to stop smoking, this is when I need to start drinking tea, or whatever the fuck it was when I was a vocalist or a drummer or whatever. And yeah, it can really fuck your head up, at least if they're not fucking you over. I'm joking about that, but it can fuck with your head.
Yeah.
Like, you go, oh shit, I don't have 2.5 hours to run back to the campsite or to the bus and fucking do a hobo shower and spray cologne on so I feel good and all that.
Yeah.
Nope. We basically sound check, and we got 15 minutes before the show starts now. Or in your case, did they also bump the entire opening of the show back a couple hours?
No, not at all. They stuck to schedule, and like I said, it was great.
AKA,
like
they fucked you on sound check.
I will go.
I'm just kidding.
I will go on record and say
you do
no.
not have to commit to that.
No,
I'm just messing around.
Nobody was fucked.
But it can mess with your head a little bit.
No, so the point I was going to make though is that things got pushed back, and we're used to that. Like, we don't have like a whole lot of pre-show regiments other than we start drinking some beers. We put wardrobe on in the trailer. We're pretty easy dudes. And we kind of got up and we started sound checking, checking lines and everything. And it literally was just a front row of people. And I'm like, holy fuck, this, like, for me, it kind of goes back. My parents went to Rockfest when I was a kid, and they would bring me like all my favorite band shit. Like Molly Hatchet's one of my favorite bands.
Dope.
Shout out to my dad. We went out to Colorado when I was a kid. We drove his 41 Willys coupe out there when I was 12. I had some piece of shit mixtape with like Backstreet Boys and fucking whatever bullshit was on there, and he bought me Flirting with Disaster on cassette at a truck stop. Changed me forever. And so anyways, we kind of got out there, and we're all dressed, we're ready, everything's sounding fine, and it's just one row of people in the front, right? So like, all of us guys, we're just like humbled and happy to be like, holy shit, we're playing this big of a stage. Cool. If we're playing for just a front row of like 20 people, we're still going to play as fucking hard as we normally would if we were playing for 2 people or 20 people in a tiny club.
Right.
But as we started kind of getting further into the sound check, people just kind of started flooding in, and we're like, holy shit, like this is actually happening. So by the time we sound checked, and then I think we had 5 minutes to step off stage, radio came in and introduced us, gave us an epic intro, and it just went off, and it was great. The response was way more than what we were expecting.
And you said when you first were getting ready to go up, there was just one row of people up
One
front.
row of people. And I was like, you know what?
Okay, I want to show this to people because the pictures I seen, and so this must have clearly changed the moment you started playing.
It like probably 5 to 10 minutes before we like fully got up and we're going to start our set, it was like front to back.
So right before you started playing.
Right, yeah. So I mean, we were maybe 15 minutes into sound check.
Do you think people were there just because they were eager for music, especially post-pandemic, or do you think you guys have built that kind of buzz in the meantime?
It's probably the former, to be honest, and probably a little bit of the latter, because like we were on like the Rockfest group
like a
page.
75-25 maybe?
Yeah, like a mix. I would say it was a solid mix, because we were on promoting a ton. This is our biggest show that we've ever done, and one of our coolest opportunities. So like what I was saying about Rockfest, it was a cool full circle moment for me, having my parents always gone there when I was a kid and then being able to play there. So I was like, I'm just happy to be here no matter what.
That's sick.
Doesn't matter if there's 20 people in the front or if there's...
Well, especially Rockfest, you don't know of those 20 people. Let's pretend there was only 20 the whole time.
Yeah.
You don't know which one of those motherfuckers is secretly the son or cousin or stepbrother of one of the biggest managers or promoters in the world.
Right.
And if you blow his mind, you might get somebody picking up a cell phone going, dude, I just heard, like, you got to check out this band. And boom, a big opportunity comes from this. So it's cool that you found, like, the novelty and the sentimental value behind that.
Yeah.
But I hope other guys who didn't have that also figured out a way to, because that's basically what you got to do is when you get in front of those small crowds, you have to figure out a way to psych yourself up. Because I don't care if it's 20 people or 2,000 people. Those 20 people, they got a babysitter.
Oh, yeah.
In this case, for the weekend.
For sure.
Right? Like, they took time. This is an event for them. They paid to be here.
Yeah.
Like, show them. I want to play this clip for people, though, because this is a video. I'm actually surprised how good the sound quality is.
Yeah.
Because it's clearly not, like, mixed audio.
No, this is actually, I think this one I sent you is from my dad's girlfriend, Michelle's phone. Turned out pretty great. I was pretty blown away.
Yeah, let's play this. If you guys don't think it's good enough audio quality, well, I fucking apologize.
You can
it's a dope video.
Fuck right on.
It's a dope video.
Feel free to sing along. Because we ain't never gonna get to know each other much. I just need to get acquainted with the rhythm of your body.
It's awesome, dude.
Yeah, thanks,
It's
buddy.
so good. It's so fucking good. I love it.
Thank you.
Absolutely love it.
It was.
I just think it's so fantastic.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that you do because it was fantastic. I actually need to say a huge thank you to John Weideman who booked us for Rockfest. He's been nothing but a mega supporter and major help for our band. Yeah, just love
Shout
that.
out to
love
John
it.
V. Rocker
Yeah.
Weideman.
Guy is.
I hope we're saying that name right. I don't know if it's Weideman or Weideman.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. But anyways, John, thank you so much for everything
Let
that
us
you've
know
done.
in the comments if you guys know. Is it Wideman
Wideman or Weideman?
or is it Weideman like vitamin?
Vitamin, or it could be vitamin or vitamin, and I could just be totally butchering it. But either way,
It's probably Wideman.
yeah, he is he has been
Or
a
Weedman.
huge help to our group though, for sure. And it was that, if I never played another show in my life, being able to play that was the response that we got from everybody there was insane. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I heard is like, because I don't know you guys.
sure,
Like,
right.
we're buddies and shit, sure. But
Yeah,
like,
we
it's
chop
not
it
like
up.
we're best friends. But
Yeah, right.
you and I have hung out for exactly
Almost 2 hours.
almost 2 hours in our life.
Yeah, good to meet you, by the way. Glad to be here. Damn glad to be here, sir.
But I know a lot of other people in the scene around shit.
Sure,
And not
yeah.
necessarily the bookers or promoters that are also going to be like, yeah, dude, they totally crushed it. There was other people that I knew that were there that were like, dude, fucking, they had never heard of you, and they recognized your band name because Joey had been on my podcast.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, I'll go check them out. And they hit me up and they were like, okay, not my cup of tea, but dude, people are into it. Like, they got a really great response from the crowd. And then there was like a literal buzz going around when you guys were done. And from what I heard, and I cannot say this is true, but from what I heard, the very next band that went up did not have as good of a crowd as you.
Yeah,
You can either confirm or deny that if you choose to. But that's what I heard. And I don't know if that's
one
true.
wink for yes, two wink. Don't worry, Bubs. You don't have to tell me if Ricky's growing dope. You just have to wink. Yeah, I mean, it was we had
The second band had a hard time following you, apparently.
It was a awesome welcome, and it was humbling to play a stage like that, and the response was incredible. I mean, there was this kid, I'll never forget this. There's this kid in the front with Down syndrome that was right up in the front, horns up the whole fucking time, just got into every single song we played, and ended up giving him a guitar pick and our set list, and his dad tracked me down like later on in the night and was like, hey, I don't know, my son was in the front, he's a kid with Down syndrome, you guys set the tone for his entire Rockfest experience, he loved you guys, like, thank you for setting the tone for Rockfest like this. And that was probably like the coolest thing that I had heard the whole night. And it's kind of things like that to see people and see a kid like that like rock out as hard as something that came out of your head.
Yeah.
Is like a really cool thing. And we started this band for fun. Like, we fucking did mushrooms, like, let's start a rock band. We're like, we'll play a show a month or whatever. And it's the first band that we haven't, like, the guys haven't gone at it with the energy of like, we're going into this band to get a fucking record deal. We're going to go on tour. We're going to conquer the world. It's the first one that like we all just kind of went in with it with the understanding of like, we all have, lives. We're all married dudes, except for Joey, of course. He's married to the game. The game of whatever, but we just kind of went into it with like, we're going to have a lot of fun with this thing. And if it's cool, it's cool. If it's not, it's not. And it's kind of really neat that, that fun has kind of translated into like people having fun at our shows and, supporting our group. And the response that we've got since we started this project is a lot more than we ever expected. Never planned for. So we're just going to keep doing our thing and keep having fun and keep writing, more tunes. Like, I mean, it's
interesting how that sometimes works, right? Like, sometimes you half-ass things and then you look back and you go, fuck, man, if we would have actually tried, we could have done really well. And then there's other times where you try really hard, you try, and no matter what happens, it just fails. And so you finally say, fuck it, I'm going to just do this because I don't give a fuck. I want to have fun. This seems dope. You have fun with it, but there's something in your DNA as a musician where you can't let it suck. So even though you're not trying to make it in all the ways that you brought up, you still can't let it suck because in your heart of hearts, you're fucking dope. And so whatever you're doing ends up being dope. And then because it's not the pressure of make it, it's more about being dope and having fun.
Yeah.
That shit becomes authentic and it starts to translate through your music and through your performances, and other people start being drawn into that authenticity. I think that works.
It's a great
with
way
my
to put it.
podcast. I think that works with my music.
Yeah.
That works with a lot of the bands I'm into, where it's not contrived. And I think we hear that in music where it's like we literally go, it's too polished.
Yeah.
You hear that a lot. Oh, it's another way. It's contrived. Like, one of my biggest issues with is I'll see a band who's just fucking badass, and then I go see them live, and they stand there and they try to look like they're in a fucking horror movie.
Sure, yeah.
And it's like, dude, stop taking yourself. I can't do this. I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah.
If you would have went up there in a fucking tutu acting like a goofball, I'd have been like, these dudes are having fun and they don't give a fuck.
Oh, yeah.
I'm way more inclined, believe it or not, to actually be into your shit.
Oh, for sure.
You guys kind of have that, like a we don't give a fuck vibe, but there's an incredibly large amount of artistic integrity with your songwriting and the performance of your instruments.
Well, thank you. That's a great compliment. And
you're welcome, man, and it's genuine, dude. Like,
I appreciate it.
It's you don't have a gimmick; it's a shtick.
I like it.
And those are way different things.
Yeah, and you got to stick with it. You know,
the shtick is fun.
Oh, for sure.
But it's not a gimmick.
Yeah. Like people are like, how would you describe your band? I was like, well, I guess if you took like the Village People and made them a little more straight and, a couple dudes that listen to a lot of Led Zeppelin and,
a slightly less gay Village People. Not even fully straight, just slightly less gay.
Just slightly less gay,
like, still gay, but less flamboyant.
Exactly. Well, there's nothing wrong with flamboyancy, it's all in the showmanship. But for me to like be sitting here and talking with, somebody like yourself, just being like, hey, come talk, about your band and the projects you're working on. Like, 3 years ago, like I was kind of telling you, a part of with the whole band is like my mom was sick with cancer a few years ago and passed away. And before that, I sold all my gear. I think I had one guitar and an amp left that sat in a case underneath my bed. Like I lost all interest. I played in a pop punk band in college, and that was a band, like I played with a couple best friends in that one too, and it was so much fun. But after that, I just kind of lost interest. I didn't really know where I kind of got into this point of like, okay, I'm graduating college. I got to figure out a career. Like I literally, if you look at a picture from me when I graduated college, I looked like a used fucking printer salesman. Like, hey, hire me, sir. I'll get those revenue numbers up real high for you.
You do have that kind of smile.
Yeah.
Like a
don't worry.
Really charismatic smile. I will sell you oil to wash your water off your car.
Exactly.
That kind of guy.
I didn't have any of this. I didn't have the hair, anything. And it was, my mom got sick, and in that time we were with her for an entire summer before she passed, and I bought a $20 classical acoustic because one of my guitar teachers in school used to beat the shit out of me verbally for playing with a pick. I was a bass player starting, and then I learned how to finger pick. And so when mom was sick, I picked this guitar up at a church rummage sale, and I started playing again.
It was a classical nylon.
Yeah, nylon. Yeah, I love a nylon because it's got the good bass end. And
was it like secretly a good guitar you got for cheap, or was it a piece of shit?
It had no brand, no serial number, and it just
ended up being dope.
Just sounded awesome. And I was like, I didn't realize how much I fucking miss playing guitar. And
what spawned you to buy this guitar?
My wife and I are we travel a lot, and we're very much into like collecting vintage things, and there's this church rummage sale in Wayzata that happens. It's a huge one. And like I've found like a really cool badass like 69 Schwinn Stingray, you know, the old banana seat bikes that I restored. And then this one year my mom was sick and there was this guitar sitting there and it kind of just spoke to me. I was like, I'm going to pick it up, hit a big old E chord on it. And I was like, I'm going to buy this for $20. And so when we were home with my mom, you know, I didn't want to sit on my phone. You know, it's just a different mindset of being. And I just fucking started playing again, got my fingers moving after like 3 years of not doing shit. And then that summer, it's the same summer that we did mushrooms and the band started. It was like I was getting things freshed up. I was getting inspired again. Like I really fucking missed this. I can't believe that I closed this major part of my life off. You know, I was especially watching my mom, you know, go from like this, you know, my mom was a beautiful woman, very artistic, very talented person. She was an incredible bass player back in the day. And to like see myself like just putting this thing that I'd worked so hard as a kid from 8 years old to 8 at the time, and being like, you're not doing this anymore.
So essentially 20 years.
I've been playing since I was a kid. And I mean, there's dudes that we play with, like, I'll never
so
be
how
as...
long did you set it down for?
Probably about 3 years. I got my first guitar at 8, you know, and then I started playing.
I did all that math completely wrong.
No, you're okay.
I did the math and I went, so what are you, like 52?
Yeah.
You look great.
Actually, yes.
Okay, so you started at 8.
And
but you set it down for a few years in between.
Self-taught with a few teachers in between.
Sorry, dude.
No, you're
apologize.
good. No.
I genuinely have a bad habit of over-talking and interrupting anyways. At that time, I was genuinely confused. I was like, wait a minute, how old is this dude?
Yeah, I'm 52. I was born in the 60s.
You're 28 now, right?
Yeah. No, I'm 33 now.
33 now. Okay.
So I was 28. I think I was 28 when my mom passed.
And that's when you started picking it back
yeah,
up.
it was kind of 24 to 28 that I kind of like sold my shit off. I was like, okay, you know, life, job, career, you know, the whole thing. And I have a great job now. I love what I do.
And how serious were you with music until this point?
Like in college, like I had like 2 semi-serious bands. Like one of them, we did some touring out east and down south, and you know, did the thing, and went out to Pennsylvania and did like 3 weeks of recording with the dude that did. Did you ever get into 4 Year Strong? They're kind of like a hardcore punk kind of group. How about the Starting Line? You don't know the Starting Line?
Fuck no, dude.
Oh, dude, are you like 50? No, I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking.
I actually am quite old.
Yeah, no.
I look amazing for my age.
Yeah, you look gorgeous. It must be the virgin blood that you bathe in every night.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Whatever.
it's infant blood, but yeah. Anyways,
infant. But we worked with
the blood of newborns.
Yeah,
straight from the womb.
So we'd worked with like a really cool producer out there and did like the pre-production thing, and worked with a guy that had actually worked with some like bigger bands at that time in like the genre, and you know, it just didn't really kind of take off the way, you know, nothing ever kind of takes off the way that you plan or hope it will. But anyways, I digress. It was just like life and like trying to figure out how to be an adult and shit. So I was like, I sold off all my stuff.
Why? See, I'm curious about that, and I'm not trying to interrupt your story.
No, you're
but
good.
This
you're
is
good.
where the conversations like actually become like really interesting versus just a story we're hearing, right?
Yeah.
So here's what I'm curious, because this is a common theme that runs through musicians.
Yeah.
We get caught up with feeling like we have to make a choice between quote unquote real adult responsible life and the rock star life.
Yeah.
But in LA and other cities, you can be a stand-up comedian or a podcaster or a musician or a combination of the three.
Yeah.
And make a living, do some shit, and there is no choice that needs to be made.
Yeah.
In this town, there's this theme that keeps running through these conversations where guys at some point in their life feel they need to make those choices. And it's obviously because we're not making music or making enough money at music.
Yeah.
What do you think it was that contributed you to feeling like you needed to make that choice, which is now almost 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Like, why were you balancing between job, life, blah 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 blah, and like, and I understand a mom dying is
sure,
or even going through any of that stuff can really, like, this isn't important. I'm gonna concentrate. I get that.
Yeah, no, of course.
But it sounds like that almost happened to you in reverse. Like your mom passing inspired you to get back into music.
Yeah.
Whereas you had started to kind of give up on it way before that, leading up to that, because you said 3 years.
Yeah, it was kind of something like that. Because like I think I graduated in 2011. I met my wife in 2011, and I'm a Wisconsin boy. I'm from a fucking super small town.
All right, guys, that's enough. We're wrapping this up.
Yeah, adios. Good to talk to you. No, so
fucking Scotties.
I had like really, like my band, our Cadence was our band in college.
Cadence?
Cadence.
That's actually good.
Yeah, thank you.
That's actually a solid band name.
We were,
that could go all the way, or just be like the greatest local band in anyone's town.
Yeah,
that's a good band name.
Yeah, and we had some fun with it, and it did really well locally where we were in the Eau Claire area. And
you were one of those bands.
Yeah, I mean, we got around.
In Minneapolis bands, dude, we used to we would cut off limbs to get into fucking Eau Claire, La Crosse.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
I played the Warehouse more times than...
That's one of them. That's one of the names of those places.
Yeah.
Dude, those places blew the fuck up.
Yeah, they're huge.
When college was in season, dude, you could hold a Minneapolis band ransom to get in front of those crowds.
Yeah, I mean, the House of Rock, which is no longer there, was in downtown Water Street. We did our EP release there, and that was like the first sold out show I'd ever played. Like the whole venue was packed. They couldn't let anybody else in, and it was a lot of fun. It was like a female fronted pop punk kind of outfit, and it was with two of my best friends from like early childhood. And when I graduated, we kind of kept it going, and then I moved here to the cities when I met my wife. And when I moved here, like the band had kind of broken up. And when I got here, I didn't know anybody.
And this was an original band?
This was an original band, yeah. It was all originals. And when I moved
how
here...
many people were you drawing in La Crosse in this Cadence band? Like and I understand there's a hard way to answer this, because there's a certain level of being a musician where you don't actually know who's there to see your band. There may be 500 kids in that room throwing down.
We never had 500 kids in the Warehouse. I've never seen 500 people in the Warehouse, period, because it's one of those venues like you got to go up 2 flights of stairs. So if
you know what I mean, though.
Yeah,
like, there's a certain level where it's like, well, there's say 250 kids.
Yeah.
But you don't really, it's not like it is now where like these are our fucking fans. Like I recognize some of these motherfuckers. I know they're here for us, and none of these motherfuckers were standing in front of the stage when the last band just played. So we know these are our fucking fans.
Yeah.
And as soon as we start playing, not only do we have those group of people that were just there, but a whole new group of them. So like these people dig our shit because they literally watched us walk on stage. In our case, back in the day, our intro started playing. So we didn't walk out and start playing our music. We had a cheesy intro.
Sure.
But that let people know that our band is about to start. And we would watch the floor fill up. It'd be basically empty. Even for an almost sold out crowd, it'd be almost empty. And then our intro would start playing, and you'd suddenly watch anywhere between 50 to 500 people fill the floor. So by the time at the end of the intro, when we walk out, they're going, yeah, because they can see our silhouettes in the darkness and shit.
Yeah, we never had that type of
and no one
crowd
did at that stage. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I understand
it was
a
more
hard
so
question to
like
answer.
when we played in Eau Claire, it was like what you're describing right there.
Right.
More so, but La Crosse was always kind of a tough one. We'd played with a couple bigger bands, and like obviously the crowd is there for the bigger band, so we're there and we get to play in front of bigger crowd, 200
so
people or whatever.
Is that what it is? Is like there's a real a quote unquote real headliner, and you're just being offered the show for exposure.
At that time, probably, yeah. Like but I mean, we'd played like a lot of other shows.
And at this
in La Crosse.
time, did you guys know about selling merch yet?
Oh yeah, we were selling merch.
Okay.
Yeah, so like we would do fine in merch, but that.
And I'm trying to get back to you come to the cities, you do all the shit.
So yeah, I come to the cities.
What is it in your life that's forcing you to feel at this time? That's forcing you to feel like you need to make a choice between music and
Sure.
a real responsible. That's what I'm curious about, and I don't want to
Yeah.
spend all podcasts on
No,
this. But
no,
I'm
no, me
extremely
neither.
curious about these things.
So yeah, no, it's a good question. So I mean, I think it was really kind of when I moved up here, my band had just broken up. I'm not from the cities originally, so I moved up here to be with my wife and kind of get started. Like, okay, here I am, graduating college. I've got 40 grand in student loans. Now I got to like focus on, okay, where am I going to get the design job at? Getting all these interviews and end up at fucking Best Buy, with student loan payments that are, $600 a month and, trying to pay Minnesota rent. Like, I didn't know anybody up here when I moved up here because our drummer moved to New York and got a job at Atlantic Records and ended up working there for a number of years. Our bass player, he's a brewer. He moved out to Oregon, Seattle. Now he brews in Montana. And then she moved out, I think, to California and Arizona. So the whole band just dispersed.
Gotcha.
After that,
and that's what'll happen in a college town when you start a band. Because motherfuckers graduate with their preferred degrees and they move.
Yeah,
like that's a reality.
Yep.
Like we hear these dream stories about like, oh well, Tom Morello went to Harvard. It's like, yeah, cool. But
Brian May was an astrophysicist,
and fucking John Mayer went to Columbia or whatever the fuck it is, Juilliard or whatever the fuck it is. Point being is like none of the bands that they made it in started while they were in.
Yeah.
That's something you got to be prepared for, but I think as young musicians, we don't know any better.
Yeah.
So I think we get disillusioned, and tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if this is even remotely close to what you were going through back then. You get disillusioned as to how good your band is doing, how far you can take this band, the realistic opportunity of this band staying together to make it that far, and then you grow up all at the same time.
Oh, yeah. There was all of that. All of those things, right?
Right?
So it's like all of a sudden, okay, the band's over. Now I've got to figure out how to pay these bills. Like, I got to figure out like how to make money. So it's just kind of music just kind of took the back seat. And honestly, I lost interest. That was a big part of it. Was like I kind of, after the band got, it kind of like towards the end of it, I was just losing interest in it. I was like, I'm not like super crazy about the music that we're doing anymore. I'm not feeling like fulfilled by it at all.
So that started before the band broke up.
Kind of like towards the end there. Like as we were kind of like starting to feel that fissure, as things were starting to separate a little bit. I was like,
and the band's not blowing up, so there's
no none of that.
Like nobody's like torn.
Right.
Everybody's kind of like, dude, we did this in college. It's cool. I have like a real dream. I want to go
and
live.
I had the best time though. Like it was like I got to play music with my best friends, and I get to do that now.
But this makes a lot more sense than some of the other stories I've heard.
Yeah, and honestly, like I've gone through a lot in the last 5 years. Like I was telling you, my mom passed from cancer. My dad was almost killed in a home invasion shooting. He was shot in the back at point blank the year before my mom died.
Your dad was?
My dad, yeah. In rural Wisconsin, yeah. So
I gotta
like
have your dad on the podcast, man.
My dad's a motherfucker, dude. I'll tell you what.
Between that and the story of the cars and shit you were telling me about before
my
the podcast
dad
started.
Shout out to Dad. Dad, I love you.
Shout out to fucking Granddaddy D. Let's have fucking you on the podcast, bud.
Yeah, he my dad builds the baddest cars in the fucking Midwest.
Dude, seriously, I want to hear that story because I was also a victim of a home invasion at gunpoint.
Well, my mom had kind of my mom had a shitty family. My mom had like a really bad childhood. I was lucky to have two amazing parents. My dad. My mom had an uncle that was in. We're taking a left turn. You guys,
we're gonna do a full circle. We're gonna do enough laps to come back to the original intersection.
We're getting super deep. Yeah. So my mom had an uncle that was in prison and got let out of prison, and the family was never notified. And he showed up at the house when my mom was alone, and she hid out, seeing that he was there. He had showed up with some weapons, went in and robbed the house, found one of my dad's guns. That luckily was just a snub-nosed 38 with training rounds in it. My dad showed up, held him at gunpoint, shot him in the back through a pillow, kind of thing. Like I'm at work.
Wait, your dad shot him?
No, he shot my dad.
Okay.
Like Anyways, and then my wife has to call me at work and be like, "Honey, I don't know how to tell you. Your dad was just shot in the back."
By my brother.
No, my wife is calling to tell me this.
Oh,
like somebody got a hold
your
of my
dad.
wife, Lauren, ahead of
Your dad was shot by your mom's brother.
uncle.
Your mom's uncle.
Mom's uncle. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't know anything about it. So I like race home. Luckily, my dad is okay. Non-fatal wound.
Was he taking his shoulder or something?
Yeah, shoulder blade.
Shoulder blade, yeah.
Yep. And
it was a training round, so did it
Yeah,
even
it was-
go like through any tissues, or did it stop
it just
in the muscle?
it stopped right at the bone. So all of that, you kind of take those kind of like super crazy life experiences in a matter of 5 years. You kind of do some figuring yourself out. You look at like, holy shit, my hero almost just died. I just lose my mom. I need to start kind of figuring out, the other shit that makes me happy. You kind of get into this thing of like, you got to work, you got to figure out how you're going to make ends meet and everything. And in that time was kind of where I did a lot of adult personal development, going to therapy, talking to people. My wife has been super supportive. My friends, this band has been a huge thing for me. And so we're just kind of taking that with like, we're not taking shit for granted. We're just going to go out and,
That's awesome.
play rock and roll. You kind of get into a way of like, I never really lost myself like coming out of school. I think I just kind of went through a period of rediscovery.
Sure.
If that's a good way to put it.
I think I know what you mean.
You kind of like, you still got some core things there, but then you kind of, you got to dress yourself a certain way to fit a certain box for a certain job or a certain type thing. And then you kind of get stuck in that for a little bit, get a little overweight, and then you kind of have life kind of remind you that shit ends.
I've even had bosses come like talk to me and they're like, look, dude, you have all the potential in the world, but I need you to like conform everything you're doing to like what I need you to do. And I'm like, fuck you. I'm here just so I can fund this other dream. And I ain't giving up on none of that shit to conform to this. But I've literally had people ask me to do what you're describing metaphorically. Yeah. So it's not, anybody who's thinking or feeling this way, not only is it valid, but there's motherfuckers who have consciously asked people to do this. Like, I need you to stop being so spunky and creative and thinking outside the box, and I need you to just be the fucking robot or the monkey in the cubicle. And it's like, dude, that's just not me. This is like, you either need to accept my eccentricities and allow me to be this crazy, weird, fun, almost jester.
Yeah, for sure.
I
totally
got
get
it. Part ways.
Yeah.
But when you have bills, student loans, rent, a girlfriend you're serious about who you want to marry someday, you start going, well, I can't give this up. But then if you stay in that route, I feel like after months or years, it'll eat your soul away, man. It'll eat your creativity away. It'll eat your inspiration away.
And I never, like, I got lucky with like my kind of first like career job that like, that I didn't have too much of like the bosses like saying like, you got to change this, you got to change that. It's pretty cool, the stuff that you're into. Honestly, I think it was really more so myself getting in my own way. Right. I think like as individuals, as creative individuals, and I'm kind of speaking like everybody out there that's into music, art, or whatever creative expression is, like a lot of times we can be our own biggest roadblocks, right? There's 100%. A lot of voices that go on up here. They're like, you're not good enough. You can't do this. You can't do that. Blah, 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 all the bullshit. And I constantly fight with that all the time.
I think I do too. I think I've been fighting with it recently.
Oh, I've been fighting with it my whole life. It's this constant fight of, you can't be too much of this or you're going to be too much to everybody else. You know what I mean?
Because a lot of that comes from listening to others. Yeah. Not just in your own head, but those seeds are planted by other people.
Yeah. And I think that, and the thing is like, I've always had like the best
in your own fucking mind with your own fucking guilt and because as a musician, by default, you are your own greatest critic.
Oh, for sure.
Usually. I've met a few cats now through doing the podcast that they're not their own greatest critic. They're fucking delusional. But I would say 99% of us, maybe 97, because we've done 100 episodes. Doesn't mean 100 guests. I'm going to guess we've had 80 different guests on the episode.
That's badass.
Let's think about
and
this
dude,
for a
fucking
second.
props to you for tackling that.
Thank you.
Like,
Thank you. It hasn't set in yet. I don't know if I should be more excited about doing 100 episodes. I don't know if I should.
the milestone.
It is. And I think it was actually Joey that pointed it out to me. I think him and I were in a conversation, maybe even on the podcast. I was coming up on 100 episodes, and he goes, do you have anything? Somebody asked me, I think it was Joey, do you have anything special planned? And I go, no. And he goes, you should do something. That's a big deal, hitting 100. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, dude.
A third of a year.
I mean, especially it came right around a calendar year, but nonetheless,
Yeah.
and we can get back to that. But I want to make sure we don't get too far off. So
Yeah.
out of 80 guests, I've had 2, maybe 3 that were completely delusional about either what they were capable of
Sure.
or how talented they were or what they were currently putting out now. And these aren't just musicians.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
2, maybe 3. One of them I talked about on the last podcast. That episode never aired. None of you will ever figure it out, so don't even try, right?
Never try.
Just don't even try, because you'll never figure it out. And that person has never been on the podcast again. One of them, a lot of people already know who it is. And that third one is, you could figure it out, but it's going to be pretty damn difficult. Point being, whatever ratio, 3 out of 80, do that fucking math. Somebody can.
Well, yeah. What, 80.8 for, it'd be like, I don't know, a low percentage.
It's like 5%.
Yeah, it's pretty low.
Percenters. Anyways,
somebody bust out the Texas Instruments. Let's go.
Long story short, 90-something% of us are overly hard on ourselves.
Oh, for sure.
Overly hard on ourselves. And we do that outside of our music, but that's where it comes from. There's something about being a musician where you're just insanely hard on yourself. Mechanics are like this as well. You ever known a mechanic?
Mm-hmm.
Those motherfuckers, when they can't figure out an engine problem, like, it takes a really experienced, usually wise, like, deep waters run deep. Yeah. Or calm waters run deep type deal.
Sure.
Anyone else other than that guy is throwing wrenches, getting mad. Fuck this fucking blah. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's something, and they're mad at themselves. They're criticizing themselves. They take it out on the engine, but it's really about themselves.
Yep.
That's all of us. Almost all of us exclusively. Sure. So we become that harshest critic. So even if you don't have other people doing these things that we were just talking about, as soon as a seed is planted by an outside source, we're already on that tip. And as soon as somebody else plants that seed that you're too much of this or not enough of that or all those things you were saying, it manifests faster than rabbits can breed. And it'll take over our entire mental yard as a jungle and turn it into a landscape. You can't even walk from one end to the other in like days. It can happen as a musician. So this is what you're kind of going through in the period of, or in the course of several years as you're leaving college, band's breaking up, you meet the girl of your dreams, and then all of a sudden your mom passes in less than 6 months.
Yep.
You stumble on this nylon string classical guitar at a yard sale or a flea market, whatever. And slowly but surely you realize. Now, I'm curious, though. You go, I can't believe, so we're referring to this event as like regret and mistake and things like that. But I wonder if almost like God works in mysterious ways type deal.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
If you don't give it up, if mom doesn't pass, if you ever come to the situation like that. You know what I mean? Like, if you kept doing it the whole time, you never had to give it up. Mom doesn't pass. Maybe you don't randomly start this band and fucking start killing it, and the journey comes full circle. I mean, obviously, we'd love to have Mom there at Rockfest.
Oh yeah, that was a tough one. Yeah,
going
for sure.
Back to the beginning of the podcast, but at the same time, maybe those things don't happen.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's one of those things. I hate this cliche that everything happens for a reason. I hate it. I really do.
I understand.
Because there's a lot of times you don't understand what the fuck's going on. But, you know, looking back on it, it's kind of like, you know, it's a little bit of dude, I am getting to the point where I'm going to have to friggin' rock a piss here pretty quick again.
That's fine.
I'm that
That's
guy.
fine. Dude, we got 2 more tracks we can play. We can take breaks, bro.
Okay, can I rock a quick piss before I ruin your chair?
No, I'll play another tune.
Okay, cool. All right, sweet. Sorry, guys.
Right.
I'll be back in a minute.
All right, second tune. This one is Daddy's Home. I really dig this song a lot, actually. I used this in a promo for my podcast a while back. Some of you may or may not have seen me doing this weird fucking dance. It's to the intro of this song because I just absolutely. So let's get this queued up, ready to go, and boom.
Daddy's home.
Right.
It's so good, dude.
So actually,
I love it. I think it's just fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. We put a lot of effort into writing that.
No,
thick,
it is
tasty
really,
lick.
it is really, really good though.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We have a lot of fun playing that one. That's a good headbanger one.
I think it's time.
What time?
I think it's time.
Yes. So I'll briefly speak about this. I brought. Oh wait, I'm not going to show the brand here. So my wife and I. Yeah, Rancho Tepua Bacanora. So Bacanora is it didn't become legal until like the late 90s because I think the specific agave plant that it came from was so rare. And my wife and I, we lived on the road all winter for 4 months during COVID, and we went to this awesome Mexican restaurant with her family when they met up out there with us, and my wife was like, "You need to try Bacanora." And I was like, okay. And I tried it, and I was like, holy shit, this is the most prison-tasting liquor I've ever tasted. It was harsh. And then her dad bought me this bottle, and this bottle is one of the best things I've ever tasted. So I thought it was only appropriate, Jared, that I bring it to share, because I love sharing with friends. And I consider you a friend. This is going to be really tasty. This is probably like one of the best tasting. And shout out to my wife, Lauren, who I love very much for...
Well, I'm honored, sir.
Yes. So you take the first pour there, my friend, and we will salute to this.
To take the first pour?
Of course.
Oh.
Sorry that the bottle's more than half empty, but you know what? Oh, he's going to
See
pour
what I
from
did
me.
there?
See
what I did there?
What a gentleman.
Gotta make sure they're even.
Oh, that's pretty close.
There we go. I think that's...
Yep, that's... The meniscus looks good.
about nuts on.
Yeah,
from
well,
my angle at least.
Salute, my
good
friend.
sir.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, and we did a special thing. So
We crusted
I've
the
been
rim.
doing a ridiculous amount of research on the best way to do things like this. And so we rimmed the glass with lime juice and then added salt. And then we're just doing the straight tequila with a little bit of ice.
Yep. And it's very floral, very smooth.
And we are continuing a great tradition on this podcast of sharing new booze with each other.
Absolutely. I'm all about the sharing. Sharing is caring.
This is a Blanco tequila, in case anybody didn't catch on.
Yes, it's actually called a
100% agave.
Bacanora is the specific, because you've got like tequila and then you've got mezcal. This particular kind is called a Bacanora. It's like a different plant.
Interesting.
And
but it's still from 100% agave.
Yeah, it's a different type.
And it's a Blanco, which means it's not tinted or...
Right.
There's nothing. It's just a clear tequila.
So get that
Very
into
well,
you.
cheers, my friend.
Cheers. Salute.
I love me some.
I do too. It's not the same.
That is good.
Yeah, it's mighty fine. My wife's like, "You're gonna bring that with?" I'm like, "Of course I'm bringing it with." Getting it down. It's gonna be great. So yeah, kind of wrap up that last point. It's just kind of got to a point where it's like, my dad and I built a car together when I was 15 years old. We stopped building that car and we did a different one. We did a 69 El Camino. I got to drive that in high school. Like I said, I got the most badass dad in the world. Built a muscle car with his kid when he's 15. First car we did was a 1952 Willys Aero Ace, which is now living complete in my garage, named the Speed Queen. After my dad went through that whole ordeal, I said, "Dad, it's time to finish the first car we started." And we built that car together, and we finished it up. It's like a mint turquoise with a pearl white top. Just a classic little 50s shoebox car. And then, with everything with Mom, it was like, you know what? Enough's enough. It's time to...
Enough's enough.
Time to let your hair down. And that's the thing, like I started growing my hair out at that point. I was like, I'm done combing it back and doing all that shit. My mom liked me growing my hair, and so I've just never had the heart to cut it since. And so I've just kept it. I mean, I get little trims and shit, but in the last couple of years, it's been a discovery of myself and going through some stuff, but it's led me to a great place. I have a great home. I've got 2 awesome dogs, an amazing wife, an amazing family, and I get to play rock and roll music with 4 of the best humans on the entire planet. So whether that takes off or we just keep doing what we're doing, whatever happens with it, I can be content.
Nice.
It's good.
Nice.
So yeah.
What do you think will end it? Like, when do you think will come the day where you're ready to put down and you're like, I'm not into it anymore? What do you think it'll take?
Daddy will never die. Daddy can never die.
Daddy D will never die. There's a t-shirt.
Yeah, Daddy D will never die. Honestly, I think we're just getting started, frankly.
I mean, obviously, but like, do you see yourself at 75 years old still trying to, you know what I mean? Like, when is enough?
Enough.
This is not intentional. It's just starting to happen at this point.
First off, I hope I'm still capable and, can still play at 75.
That would be dope, right?
Right. I think that, as in life, we all kind of go through transitions. We go through, different phases of music as we do with life. As I've gotten older, I'm kind of, my brothers in Revenant Soul, they talked a little bit, about Motown and different varieties of music on your podcast with them, which was a great episode, by the way.
Thank you. It was aight.
It was aight. I listen to a lot of stuff, and I've noticed that as I've gotten older, I fucking love putting a Steely Dan record on the table.
Shout out to Logan. Shout out to Joe, by the way. Thanks for dropping in.
Shout out to you boys. Thanks for hanging out. I only see like music as a journey. Like one thing my dad said to me as a kid, because I got bullied as a kid, because I wasn't like the biggest dude in school. I wasn't like super great at sports, and my dad always said to me, "Is like, you know what? Those dudes can't play football forever, but you can always pick up your guitar till the day you die." So. In the lessons I've learned in the last 5 years, I'll never put my fucking guitar down ever again. And so whether it's, do I imagine that I'll be 75 and fucking headbanging with Uncle Daddy? Maybe not, but maybe we'll have a sick old Uncle Father bluegrass band.
A brother cousin?
Brother cousin.
I was thinking
playing
about
in a cornfield.
I was thinking about the same question to myself, right? Because I have a list of things I want to do.
Yeah.
And then if I ever got everything on that list, I'd be content with retiring. But just recently in the last few years, some new things have started to go on that list.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing as long as I physically feel I'm capable of doing it, there's always going to be a new band or a new thing I want to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'll ever be able to stop, whether it's the podcast, there's always going to be somebody new I want to talk to.
Yeah. It's all about those experiences.
It's the music, a new stage I want to play, a new band I want to play with, a band I want to, literally a band I want to play with, whether someday I'm the headliner or I'm opening for, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's just always something that gets added to that list, right?
Yeah.
If you're a real musician, does it ever die?
No, and that's a good thing. Like, I don't ever want my list to stop. Because if all of a sudden I hit that last thing on the list, I'm like, what the fuck do I do now?
What's the point?
I better start digging. Go buy that shovel. I
like that salt.
Dude, it's so good.
I didn't even take a drink of my tequila. I just licked the rim of my glass and stole some salt, bro.
I'm a guy that's into a lot of things. I love art. I love creating music, cars, traveling. That's one thing. My wife and I learned a lot. Like, we had spent 4 months on the road living in an 18-foot camper with our truck.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you about that. So where the fuck does the motivation for this come from? I say it in a way that's dismissive. Where the fuck does that idea come from?
Sure.
But with context.
Yes.
You're from Wisconsin.
Yes.
You moved to Minnesota.
Sure.
Which in many ways is
cross the
same,
border.
But in many ways it's the exact same thing. The only reason it's in any version of significance is because you came from technically western Wisconsin, which is almost vacant of large cities, and then you came to the Twin Cities, which is, other than Chicago, it's the biggest. I mean, it's bigger than Milwaukee. Minneapolis is not, St. Paul is not, but the two together are.
Right.
So other than Chicago, it's kind of like one of the big deals in this part of the country.
Yeah.
That's the only reason that's even significant. It's not insane for people from Wisconsin or Minnesota to like camping or road tripping or
absolutely.
RVing. It's literally part of something we do
You're
on a regular
born
basis.
to love the fucking Northwoods.
Where it is interesting to me and why I asked this question is how the fuck does that become part of your lifestyle? Number one, because that's part of my future dream.
Yep.
Is that I have so much fuck you money. Kate and I literally just jumping in a big ass, nice ass RV. And if we're really got fuck you money, somebody else is driving that motherfucker too.
Okay.
And we can travel around the country, do whatever we want. But the other reason it doesn't seem insane, and I'm curious about it, or maybe it does seem a little insane depending on who you are, but I'm still curious about it, is because when does the idea of road tripping or camping short term turn into an appealing long-term lifestyle? Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely.
That was a long-winded question.
No,
but does
no.
It actually make
so
sense? I'm practicing on my fucking question.
No, you're good. You're good. So
fuck you guys.
what started out as what was supposed to be a 1 month trip turned into 4 months. So we went out. We started leaving here. So to answer your first question, what kind of sparked it? It's something that we had always talked about doing. Right.
So did you buy a van or an RV?
Last year I bought a 2015 Ram 1500 pickup truck.
And then you had a fifth wheel?
No, we got my dad had picked up an 18-foot like 2017 four-server R-Pod camper for the family to use. My dad's retired.
18-foot?
It's 18 foot, so it's pretty small.
So it's a fifth wheel.
No. It's short. It's 18 feet. It's not like a big...
But isn't a fifth wheel the thing that just drops into the back of your pickup?
Yeah, this just goes right on the ball hitch of the truck.
So that's not a fifth wheel. So
No.
a fifth wheel goes into the middle of your bed.
Yeah, that's like the gooseneck, also known.
So
Those are
that's the
usually bigger.
Okay, so that's the difference between
Right.
what you're talking about and a fifth wheel. Fifth wheel goes into the middle of your bed.
Yes.
This just goes onto the back of your truck.
Right. This
onto
just
the regular ball
Yep,
hitch.
and usually
Okay.
you want like a 3/4 to a 1-ton truck for doing a fifth
So
wheel
that's
type.
just now called a camper.
Yeah, this would be
what
just like
you
a
have?
travel trailer. Yeah.
A travel trailer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's got a
dope.
queen size bed. It's got a small area for sitting, gas stove, convection oven, refrigerator, bathroom, shower, all that. And so we took that out to Colorado, saw some friends. My grandma, I feel like I'm the saddest dude you've ever had on your fucking podcast.
No, it's all
But
good,
my
dude.
grandma, who was like my second mother, passed away the day after Christmas, who was like a huge part of my life. And she loved how much Lauren and I travel. Lauren's my wife. And before she passed, she's like, you guys go, you keep having fun, do your thing. And after she passed, we just fucking went. We left and we went out to Colorado, Utah. We stayed out in Zion National Park. I think we did 6 national parks on this trip. And then Lauren and I have been going out to Arizona for the last 4 years. And my grandparents had a place in Arizona. That's where we fell in love with it. So about 4 years ago, we went to visit them for a week. And Lauren and I just fell in love with the Southwest. And so this year was just like, you know what? I don't have to go back to an office. My wife got furloughed. We just stayed out till, I don't think we got home until April 26th. Our house was pissed. Everything was broken. So we've refinanced and we're fucking fixing everything in our house and
What
making
do you
it.
mean your house was pissed
Oh, dude.
and everything was broken? So you
Came
were
back
gone
to
too
a-
long?
We came back to a frozen bursted pipe in the garage with
'cause
water
you
and
didn't winterize your house properly because
Well-
you didn't expect to be gone that long.
right. And we had people.
See, now the puzzle pieces.
We
are
had
coming
people
back together.
checking in on it, but nobody ever went in the garage. So we came back to water and mold, and then just after that, everything just
So you had to
systematically kept.
refinance.
Well, we just refinanced because we wanted to do a lot of bigger things to the house.
How much did this mistake?
Oh, it wasn't a mistake. Nothing. It was nothing major.
No. I mean, like, not it was a mistake to go on the but this mistake of not having people check the garage and like the total.
Oh, like the frozen
Yeah,
pipe thing?
yeah.
Oh, our neighbor's a plumber, so he came over and fixed it for like $120.
Oh, you got lucky, bro.
Very lucky.
What about the mold?
The mold I cleaned myself.
Oh, you got lucky, bro.
Dude, you just take a fucking wire brush and some bleach and you're good.
Usually.
And I'm a pretty
It
handy
depends on how
motherfucker.
bad and how deep it is.
I've done all the flooring work and rebuilt our deck.
So you didn't have to bring out any. You didn't have to. There's no rot. There was no.
No.
major damage. You
No.
got lucky.
It was just like we've got a mortar foundation house and it just fucked up our shelving in there is all. So it wasn't a major deal. So
thanks, sweet little 6 pound 7 ounce baby Jesus.
yeah. So I mean there was just like little things that just kind of
Nestled in
kept
his
breaking
crib.
afterwards and we're like, you know what? refinancing is good. Let's just fix some shit up. Adult talk right now, So, but anyways, that lifestyle, we ended up living out of
even after the tragedy of coming back, you weren't even deterred.
No.
You take an extended vacay, you come back, pipes burst, you're like, fuck it, worth it. So worth it.
Yeah. Worth it.
Prepare better next time.
Yeah, prepare better next time. Like we're figuring out how we can do it again this winter.
These aren't reasons not to do it again. These are just things you need to prepare for next time, right?
Right, exactly. So like you were talking about, this being something that you wanted to do with your wife in the future. 100%. And one of the big lessons that I learned on this trip, my wife and I learned, is that we met a ton of people. We made great friends. Like we ended up meeting a couple from Idaho that we met on a hike in Zion, and 2 months later they met up with us in Arizona and camped out with us where we were camping. And then next month there's a younger couple than us that is going to be in Wisconsin, and they live on the road full time, and we're going to go camp with them and hang out. Like we've made amazing friends, and we've met some older people. And by older people, you said the word retired a little while ago, and I hate that fucking word because I think retirement is just bullshit. I think you fucking live your life as much as you can.
Retirement is American for you bought your freedom.
Right. But I think
that's what it means. You can afford to not work for somebody else and still live a decent life.
Right.
That's what retirement means in America.
But I think there's a lot of people still.
It's basically like our version of slavery from like 400, 500, 600 years ago.
Yeah, that's how I feel. And I think that like more and more people need to like, you know what? Spend money when you have it, because you don't know if you're going to wake up tomorrow to even fucking experience shit. So you know what? Like, maybe I might not retire with as much money or whatever, but I met a guy from Minnesota who lives on the road now, who is retired, has a big fifth wheel, and he said to me, he's like, you know what? It's really cool to see you and your wife doing this, because nobody ever told me that this was a thing that I could do when I was your age. He said, I have all the money in the fucking world right now to travel and go wherever I want. I could buy whatever the fuck I want, but I can't buy new knees to go hiking like you guys just did this morning.
That's dope.
He's like, I can't do the shit that you guys are waking up every morning to go and do.
That's so sick, dude.
So like we met like these people that waited till retirement to finally discover like we've got a pretty fucking beautiful country that we live in, but we're just going to work our fucking dicks to the bone until we're 62, 70 or whatever.
I've been yelling this exact thing at my parents for 10 years. And now my dad has an annual.
Yeah.
So now it's too late. Like,
right.
And he's still young. He's in his mid fucking 50s.
Well, my mom was 48 when she passed. So it's like I could be 48 years old and have the same thing happen to me, but at least I'll be dust in the wind knowing that my wife and my best friend, we went and did this shit. And so what? Some shit broke in our house, and you know what? It cost some money to do it, but I would do it 50 times over again.
Right.
I think more people need to hear that. Like, you should go out.
100%.
You know what? Like, even if you don't.
Live your fucking life. Follow your fucking dreams.
Yeah.
Jeremy Blake came on the podcast. I think he actually ended up saying this off the podcast. But just simply pursuing your dreams, like in our case, trying to be in a band.
Yeah.
That is oftentimes ballsier and more fulfilling than what anybody will do in an average life.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm lucky in the sense that my job...
RVing is the same example, by the way. I don't mean to single out. Everybody should be a musician or an actor.
Oh.
No, like sometimes it's the simple things.
Right, exactly.
Like I want to RV, I want to travel. Start doing it now. Don't work 40 years to do it later when your body can't keep up with it.
Right.
Don't wait 40 years until you can quote unquote afford it.
Right.
Do it now. Because those things might impact your life. You might meet new people. You might learn new things. It can change your journey along the way and make your life more enjoyable until you, quote unquote, can afford it.
Yeah.
Right?
And it gave my wife and I a whole new perspective that, like, okay, we literally lived out of a fucking closet this big and a bathroom, to just throw our clothes and shit in. And we left with 3 DVDs for the DVD player, for the small ass TV that's in this thing. We went to Goodwill in every town that we went to, and we loaded up on DVDs on just like old movies and shit that we had totally forgot about. We didn't do any Excuse me. We didn't do any Netflix streaming. We didn't do any of that bullshit. We just fucking watched movies. We fucking drank red wine and listened to jazz music and played Disney board games at night. And
you know what's crazy is like now if you step into a town, you don't even have to do the DVD things. You buy 1 month of HBO, download everything you can store on any random Wi-Fi digital device.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You can adapt the exact same idea.
Yeah, and we could have done that.
You want. You're playing fucking board games. You're
right.
just, and it creates something very similar to what we're doing right now, which in this day and age is depressingly rare.
Yeah.
Where we don't have our phones out. I mean, I technically do just to check on the feed from the other end because I started learning I can't just trust my equipment. I actually have to monitor it. But I'm not sitting here taking text messages and replying. Neither are you. We're actually just sitting here enjoying each other's company and getting to know each other.
Absolutely.
I've noticed that, and tell me if you think I'm wrong, but in the society that we live in today, especially in the pandemic, we retreated to our devices more than ever. And that's started to seep into our intimate relationships with your parents, with your wives, with your brothers, your sisters, your best friends. You sit at a table having dinner and everyone's on their phone.
Yeah,
you sit around hanging out having drinks, everyone's on their phone.
Yeah, I can see that.
But when you're doing this lifestyle, it seems like that happens less often. Much like what we're doing here on a long form podcast.
Yeah. I think like
do you agree?
Yeah.
Or am I exaggerating?
No. I think you're right. I think like
tell me if I'm wrong. Don't agree just because it's my fucking show, dude.
No. I don't.
This isn't that kind of show.
No.
Like, don't agree with what I say because it's my show.
Yeah, you're totally right, man. We should kill everybody that's different from us. Totally. Yeah. No.
Did we just invent the purge?
We might have. Wait, is that a movie? No. I don't think you're wrong at all. I think like in our house, like we try not to be super like device heavy. Like my wife and I like my niece will come over and we'll put on a record and just listen to music and cook dinner without anything going on. And she's like, it's so quiet here. And we're like, is that a bad thing? She's like, no, I like it. I like the music. Like I like, we that's one thing that like when we were out on the road too, is like we weren't on our phones. Like I was on my phone for work and like, I was lucky and fortunate that I could do my job from where we were, but it was like as soon as we were done, we went on a hike or we fucking went and checked out some new site or, ran and got groceries. It was like, I think in our situation, we kind of like got away from it a little bit and just like got back out into the world.
And it seems to me like what you're describing is something similar to what I talked about with Justin, which is like the opposite of okay.
I couldn't stand getting on my device because all it was negative. Every time you open social media.
It also seems like when we're in this version of this world, we're very result driven, right? So I'm like, I get on my phone to seek entertainment.
Sure, yeah.
Right?
That's
so
what we all
like,
do.
I'm unsatisfied until I find the type of video I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And then I'm satiated.
Right.
Right? Like almost like a starving wolf just ripping through a corpse until it finds the only organ that can possibly like an addict.
Sure, yeah.
Whereas it sounds like what you're describing is you're doing one thing and then you go on a hike.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't sound like there's a result being sought.
No.
It sounds like you're just enjoying the experience that you're having.
Is
that accurate?
It's
like
what every
hike,
therapist...
There's no goal to the hike. There's no point to the hike. It's doing the hike.
Yeah, it's
the experience of the hike. There is no like, well, if we don't hike 2 miles, we failed. No. There is no, if we don't hike to the top of that peak, we failed. We're going to go on a hike, and then when we're done, we're going to come back.
Yeah.
There's no goal accomplished there. It's the experience of each other's company.
Yep.
And the lack of distraction.
Yep.
And the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Not an... God, I hope the listeners understand it, because I think you do and I'm struggling to come up with more words.
There's
something important here that we're both trying to say.
It's 2 words. It's present moment.
Yeah, we're doing.
It's like I came on the podcast talk with you because like one, it's cool to like talk about music, talk about the band. Like, of course, I take a lot of pride in our creation. And it's fun to come in and be like, hey, I'm talking with you about something I'm immensely proud of. But I'm also very happy to talk about, life and everything. And it's like, I think, in the hike situations that my wife and I just wanted to be, let's go see something new. Like, there's no expectation.
Yeah, what's out there?
You get to a certain point, you're out on this mountain, you're 3 miles in, you're like, should we keep going? Sure, let's keep going. Then all of a sudden you get onto the backside of the mountain where some fires were, and you're like, holy shit, this land got devastated. You go around another corner, you're like, holy shit, that's a 30-foot fucking cactus right there. Like, look at that dick rocket just reach into the sky. I've never seen something so tall. And it's just, yeah, man, it just kind of is like present moment shit. And it's like, I think we all kind of struggle with that. I struggle with it. You're kind of thinking about what's the next thing? What did I do yesterday? Yada, yada, yada. But I
think this can also be translated to us stage as musicians.
100%. Bert Kreischer.
Times,
100%.
100%. I'm a huge Bert Kreischer. I heard him talking shit on a podcast. He was like, yeah, I saw your fucking Twitter post, and I know where you live in Minnesota. And don't move.
Yep, I see it. Hold on. High five.
Got him!
Woo! Got him!
Woo! Got him!
Now I've got bug guts. I'm done. This podcast sucks. I'm out of here. I got dead bug guts all over my fucking hand.
We just did a blood pact.
We just did.
I sacrificed an animal on you.
Thank you. I feel closer to you now.
Do you feel that in the room?
I do. I feel the spiritual energy filling in.
That's us bonding.
It is.
No, he was like, not only do I fucking, I saw your fucking post. I know who you are. Fuck you. And I know where in Minnesota you live. I swear to God, he said this.
To you?
No, but he said this on a podcast.
Oh, yes.
And
I remember what podcast you're talking about. My
egocentric ass was like, oh my God, did he misconstrue one of my tweets? Because I know for a fact that we know people who are tight with them. Like, there's people in our town that we know and hang out with. I know it for a fact, who know Bert, who know Bill, who know Joe, that whole crew. And my egocentric ass actually for a brief moment was
thought it was you.
Oh my God, is he talking about me? Did I accidentally say something about him and he thinks I'm like talking shit about him? Because his quote was, and you said you remember the podcast, but you should remember this too. He said, no, I'm more than just a comic who takes his shirt off or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, did he misinterpret one of my tweets or some shit like that, or hear one of my I just immediately fucking, and I was like, dude, not everything revolves around you, Jared. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are you even doing right now?
Had
like,
to take
that's where your brain went, you fucking arrogant prick that
had
you
to take
actually
a moment.
Thought Bert Kreischer was talking about you right now. Plus, and then I had to go, I don't think I've ever talked shit about Bert online or in public, because I don't think negative of Bert. I'm a genuine fan of him. Like, when he does well, when he succeeds, I become extremely excited and happy for him.
He's been doing, those guys are my favorite comedians. Bert, Tom, those two. Tom Segura's got one of those laughs when he starts laughing, when he freaks out. I'll just start dying. Like, I've literally been sitting in a place, I'll be working and I'm listening to a fucking Segura podcast and I'll just start bawling by myself. And my wife is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm like, come here and watch this video. Like the video where he broke his arm and snapped his leg or whatever. And then did you see the t-shirt that they put out? Mm-hmm. The Air Jordan one where his limbs are in. I fucking bawled for 10 solid minutes looking at that t-shirt and watching that clip.
You're a big fan of Two Bears?
Big fan.
Okay, did you see the Kool-Aid episode?
I've never laughed harder in my entire life on YouTube. It
like,
was
honestly, if I was tighter with those dudes, like, which means if I knew them at all,
like the assumption of knowing them, period.
Right.
Yeah, if I was tighter with Bert, I mean, I got to meet him sometime, but
yeah, right. Like if I was tighter with Bert and Tom, you know, like as in if I knew them even remotely, I would play that clip on this podcast because it's so genuine and hilarious, even if it is a setup bit. Like even if because I feel like Bert is such a genius that he actually set that up that way. Like I don't feel like he actually.
See, don't ruin for me. I'm like, that's such an organic bit. I'm like, leave it.
Right. But regardless, Tom clearly wasn't in on it. So even if Bert thought this whole, it doesn't matter because it played real.
Oh my god, I laughed so fucking
The idea
hard.
that he had a fucking 64-ounce thing that looked like water full of Kool-Aid and he apparently drank 2 a day and the way Tom died laughing, honestly, like I said, if I was tighter with him, as in if I knew him even remotely and it didn't seem like I was just trying to get clicks on my own,
yeah,
I would play that clip because it's so funny.
It's
it
so
seems
good,
so genuine. It is probably one of, between that and the Jennifer Aniston for safety. You remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, can she bring friends? And it's like, well, yeah, for safety.
For safety.
Dude, and fucking the way they, like, Bert's laugh is the one that gets me going.
Oh, see, it's
like
Tom's for me.
Laugh. My cousin Christine, her and I, if either one of us start laughing, my cousin Christine, if she starts laughing, I start laughing. I don't even know what she's laughing at. I'll start laughing and then look to what are we laughing at right now? And same thing for her. If I start laughing, she'll be like, that's not funny. And I'll go, yeah, it is. And here's why. And then she'll die. She'll lose it. Like the whole thing just started over and she finally gets it. Bert is like that for me as well. And so is Tom.
Yeah, Tom, it's
when
Tom
Tom
for me.
gets going, dude, Tommy Buns is like, dude, when he died laughing from that Kool-Aid thing, dude, like the fact that you watch this man almost suffocate to death because he can't fucking breathe because he's laughing so fucking hard.
Oh, shit.
If you guys don't know what we're talking about, just Google or YouTube, whatever.
There's a Kool-Aid clip.
Kool-Aid. 2 bears for safety. 2 bears, 1 cave.
Yeah, it's a good laugh.
Name 2 bears, 1 cave for safety. 2 bears, 1 cave. Kool-Aid.
Yeah, that Kool-Aid bit is the best. It's so much sugar.
I love me some Rogan, but 2 bears, 1 cave might be my favorite podcast.
Yeah, I mean, me and my brother Joey. And actually, a lot of people ask us at shows if we're brothers.
Really?
Strangely, yeah.
You and Joey?
Yeah.
I can kind of see it.
Maybe
in the
it's
eyes
the
a little
hair.
bit.
Maybe it's the hair.
No, it's actually in the eyes.
The eyes.
There's a little bit in the eyes. Yep. And your coloration of your skin is very similar as well.
We're both exotic to some degree. He's Puerto Rican, and
he said that. That was a great one on the.
We call him our Puerto Rican. See, like I know that like my dad's family, like because we've been to Norway. We like traveled throughout Norway, and like retraced my grandpa and my dad's side family lineage, but since my mom passed, we never knew what she was. We always knew that she was a mutt, and
sure.
So I think I'm gonna do that ancestry shit this year. Figure out what am I? Who am I? I don't know. You know.
Well, it's weird though because you got to do, if you really want to know, you got to do them all.
Oh, you got to get in deep with like 23andMe and Ancestry.
Because they all have different levels of accuracy and different levels of information.
Shit's really good.
Like not a single one of those DNA bad boys, not one of them is actually 100% accurate.
Sure.
But one of them is significantly more accurate at one type of genetic coding.
Sure. Okay.
So you got to take them all and then kind of piece together your own puzzle.
Yeah.
Because some of them don't even track certain regions of the world. It's kind of hard to explain, but like...
Have you done it?
No. And that's why. It's because like if I want to do it right and get the right full picture...
Yeah.
It's like fucking $1,800. Because you got to do, like, some of them are 100, some of them are 200, one of them's 800, you know, another one's 400. You add all of them up, there's like 6 or 8 of them to do. It's like you need to have like a couple grand if you actually, because some of them will give you crazy levels of blood data. Like, oh, you're actually super sensitive to dairy.
Yeah,
you're not
yeah.
lactose, but you're sensitive to dairy. Like, it's weird, dude.
My
it's
wife's
weird.
super into those tests.
They're all accurate-ish.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't just take one and then go, fact! That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, do the other ones.
Yeah, my buddy does Ancestry, and he's a big fan. He's been doing it for a few years. He's been like
Ancestry's dope because they have the documents.
Yeah,
so you can connect trees regardless of what DNA says.
When I was in Norway in 2009 for 2 weeks, we went with my whole family, and my grandpa had all of his like family lineage shit. And we ended up meeting a cousin of his in a town in Norway that he didn't know that he had. And this no kidding. And this guy had the same fucking paperwork. Like, we were at a hotel outside of, I think it was outside of Bergen, Norway. And my grandpa asked the concierge, she's like, you know any Hagenes? You know, because that's my actual last name is Hagenes. It's a mouthy Norwegian name. But she's like, yeah, actually, there's one that lives up the hill. He's like a famous poet. And yeah, no kidding. Yeah. So we drove up to this person's house who doesn't speak hardly a word of English. My grandpa's like, I think we're cousins. My grandpa's got a fucking binder as thick as like the original Bible with, yeah. And here this guy has got half of the same fucking documents, finds out that they're cousins. We spend the afternoon. My grandpa's got this cousin in Norway he's never known about. All these fucking same name family people. And so I know a good part of my heritage is Norwegian. Like, I've seen where my grandparents' farm used to be in Norway. Yeah, it's great. Like, my grandpa had the pictures, like the land coordinates. Like, we went and saw it, and like, there's nothing there anymore.
But you went there physically.
Physically went there, yes.
Dude, that is crazy.
Yeah. That's why travel's important, everybody. Like, I lived in Australia for 6 months, 2 months in Norway, Italy twice, all over the Northwest, Southwest. Like, you got to go. You got to travel.
Traveling across the country doing tours as a musician.
Yes, as you should.
And I don't know why that sounded that way. I think
no, it's okay. I love it.
I was exhaling really weirdly as I said that sentence because it did come out that way, didn't it? Like,
no,
I've done some traveling.
I've done some traveling. I've been to.
That was weird.
I've been to Iowa.
I caught that too as I was saying it, and I'm glad you called me out for it because I was going to do it anyways.
It's all good. Super weird. I'm loving the chemistry.
And I think I was trying to say it like this. I have done some traveling in this country as a musician. Even as a child when I was in a fucking church choir at boarding school, we went on a tour.
Hallelujah.
And sung at different churches across the country.
Sure. So
even at literally 12 and 13 years old, I experienced what it's like to be on tour. I was literally stuffed in a van with 13 smelly teenagers.
That sounds fucking
traveling from
awful.
City to city, staying in shitty hotels if we could afford them, and then waking up and having to perform. It was incredible how realistic that experience was to being on a real original band on a real fucking tour. It was mind blowing. And then I've been out of the country a couple times. I found, and I want you to tell me if you relate to this.
Yeah.
I found traveling seemed to make me feel like my soul had been enriched or like grown, and I understood more of what it meant to be human versus just Minnesotan versus just American. Like, there's a human experience that I feel is extremely soulfully.
Yeah,
it benefits your soul, so to speak.
Yeah.
Do you experience that same thing? Like, did you feel more enriched as a human?
1,000%
when you did those.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because I did Australia through a study abroad program. I got there knowing nobody, and I love making friends. I love good people. I hate shitty people. I love everybody. That's awesome. And Australian people are fucking incredible people. I've never met more in like America, like the best guitar players live in fucking Australia. I will say this till the day I die. I'm not even kidding you.
I mean, a lot of people would say Norway
for guitar players.
Yeah, like Norwegian death metal.
Oh, come on,
dude.
No.
I mean, a lot of people would say L.A.
No, L.A.
Nashville.
Nashville, sure, but fucking Australia. I went there thinking, hey, I know
some people would argue Japan.
I know a thing or two about the instrument guitar. And then you go to Australia and you meet some motherfuckers that just blow your head off.
Oh, shit.
Well, I mean, AC/DC, they're fucking straight out of Australia. I mean, but I'm not kidding. Like, I some of the like most talented people on the fucking 6-string guitar I met were in Australia, and they were insane. I mean, they're beautiful people, lovely people. But yeah, I would agree with you because like I did a lot of these alone. I went to Australia by myself and lived there for 6 months, and I met and made some lifelong friends from different countries: Japan, New Zealand, Canada, Australia, the US. Went to Italy twice. Went to Italy once by myself and met some friends out there, and then I just threw a backpack on and just fucking went wherever the train would take me. Showed up in Cinque Terre at the middle of the night without speaking a word of fucking Italian. Like, hey, is there anywhere that I can stay in the middle of this fucking ocean rainstorm? During, like, the Fukushima shit that happened in Japan. Remember that?
Yeah,
in 2011?
Of course.
Yeah, I was in Italy when that happened.
I mean, we're still suffering effects of Fukushima.
Oh, big time. Like, so much radiation still spilling out. It's like, yeah, don't forget about that. We got a lot going on here with everything else.
There's shit washing up on the American shoreline from that area of the world.
We went
from literally 10 years ago. There's something showing up on the beach of some American coastline from Alaska down to southern LA. Something showing up on the beach today that left Japan
back in 2011 when that happened.
Fukushima.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's literally hard to comprehend.
Yeah, it is really. Like, my wife and I went to the Harley Museum back in 2019 over Thanksgiving, and they had a motorcycle, a Harley that had washed up from Japan and California during that event.
The tires
on display.
stayed inflated and kept that bike.
It's a fucking rotten piece of shit that's left over.
It's still floated.
It's still floated, but I think they found it.
But you
I might be wrong.
Saying. Like,
yeah,
something kept that from going.
I think
to the
there was a
bottom of the
shipping
ocean.
container that it was in.
Oh, okay.
If I remember correctly from the exhibit, but I mean, it was very heavily destroyed. But yeah, when you're traveling, there's something about like all of the everyday bullshit that fucking just gets lost. You're seeing the way other people do things, and you're kind of like, you know what, my shit's not so bad. Like, maybe I don't need to worry about this fucking thing I've been worrying about for the last 5 years. Like, you meet people. That's the best thing about traveling is you meet people.
Who's the coolest person you've met while you're traveling? That's not necessarily like famous.
No, I don't. I haven't met anybody famous traveling.
Who's the coolest person you met traveling? Even if nobody gives a fuck who they are, who's the coolest dude you've met or person? I just assume dude because I'm a dude.
Yeah,
that's how chauvinistic I am.
Yeah, it's okay.
Admitting flaws, that's what we do.
We're working on it. We're making progress.
I'm a dude. I'm interested in dudes.
That's another thing that's cool about our country.
If I'm highly interested in women that aren't my wife, there's a flag.
Yeah.
There's a flag on the play. I'm a straight man. I shouldn't be highly interested in other women.
Yeah, that's where you're crossing into trouble territory.
And I'm joking when I say like, oh, vulnerability. No, I'm being actually genuine right now. Like, no, seriously, if you're a straight dude, like being healthy is like, yeah, I'm really inspired and into other straight dudes to figure out like what I can relate to and blah, blah.
Yeah.
If you're a straight dude and you're super fascinated in like women and supporting women and you're married, there's something weird going on there because the only woman you should even remotely be
is your wife
or other women related to you directly, like your sister,
right? Your mother, your sister,
yeah, and shit like that.
Shout out to my sister who just finished her first year. She's going to school to be a psychologist and crushed her first year.
Dope.
Just finished her finals,
What's
passed
her
her
name?
stuff. Olivia.
Shout out to Olivia.
Shout out to my beautiful, and my sister is gorgeous. She's very much like my mom and one of my best friends in the whole world. I was lucky to be.
Is she single?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. Sorry, boys. I
Sorry,
was gonna
boys.
say maybe we can hook her up with one of our lovely bachelor listeners.
You know, she's.
There's a couple of them with medical degrees, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, she's.
I know that's hard to believe, but that's actually true.
No, I was lucky to be raised by amazing women. Not only like my mom and my grandmother, but my mom's friends. Michelle, Kathy, Ricky, I love you guys. You guys probably are not seeing this right now, but you might see it later. They had a great impact on my life and like how you treat women. And I'm lucky to be married to a wonderful woman myself. But in traveling, I think to answer your question about the most interesting person, I don't know. It's like, and I also have such a shit memory.
Somebody sticks out. Come on.
Okay, Jim. Shout out to Jim at Jim's Trading Post out in Rimrock, Arizona, who I probably am wearing some of his jewelry that he sold me. This dude is out in Rimrock, Arizona, which is kind of between Phoenix and Sedona. And he's got this fucking cool-ass little trading post where he sells, like, you know, Native American jewelry, which I'm a big collector of. He sells, like, you know, instruments, cool antiques, all kinds of shit that my wife and I are into. And we've been friends with him for the last 4 years, and he owns a big property out in the desert where he has these huge cookouts where the desert community comes together and live bands play on his property.
Oh.
And they just do a giant fucking barbecue and cookout, and then they've got like country bands and shit that just come out and yeah, like I think they have like an old and Jim, correct me if I'm wrong. You're probably not gonna see this, Jim, but I think they've got like a pretty epic property out there where they've got stuff. I still got to get into this one because I'm still sipping the liquor
Do
here.
the cold one.
Yeah, I'll do the cold one. But every time I see him, he's like, "Yeah, you guys should bring your band out here." And I'm like, "Well, people are either gonna really like it or be like, what did you bring to our fucking casual party?"
And when it happens, I'm on my way.
Yeah,
I'm coming with.
Really,
and we're doing a remote podcast down there. I don't care if I have to record it. I'll hook up with Joey. We'll figure out a way to sync the video and audio.
Yeah.
Nope, we're doing it.
Well, and I always said that if
we're doing it, Joey, I know you're fucking watching, you son of a bitch.
He's probably not.
He might be doing a stream.
He's probably doing a stream, but whatever. He'll see it later. We've always talked about if I move to Arizona, he's coming with.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it many times. But, because, you know,
I love that fucking midget.
He's a good dude. Well, that's why we got. Have you seen our?
I love you, Joey.
Oh,
fuck
the
you.
M word.
Fuck you, Joey. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you, sexy idiot.
I love you, you little bitch.
I love him too.
You sexy little son of gorgeous little piece of shit.
He had to build himself a platform. Dude. Okay, so how tall are you, Jared?
I'm 6 feet tall.
You're fucking 6 feet all around. Even. See, I'm a healthy 5'9".
Okay.
Joey has got to be 5'2", 4", somewhere in there. I don't know exact, but if you my point is, everybody, I am not a tall individual, and I've never been a tall individual. However, I play every show in the same pair of snakeskin cowboy boots that maybe give me 2 inches, so I'm maybe 5'11". Every picture that Joey and I are in, I feel like I'm like dwarfing my son. This is my son, Joseph. That's why he built himself a box that's almost 2 feet high with a 79 fucking Firebird on it. So everybody's like, what's the deal with the fucking Firebird at every show? I'm like, well, 1, it's cool. 2, Joey needs to be taller.
I am stealing that, by the way. My stepdad has the front end of his first Firebird.
No kidding. What year?
When he was a teenage. I don't remember what year. I'm going to find out.
Please do. If it's a 79, it's the best year.
But I'm going to find out, and I am stealing your idea, but I will give credit every time.
Thank you.
But that's exactly what I'm doing. Is we're gonna build an ego box for Jeremy, because Jeremy's a little shorter.
That's okay.
He's a little taller than Joey, but he's a little shorter than me. And
yeah, that's okay.
So But we're gonna build him a nice little ego box with uplifting lights, so
Yep.
up lights. So
Yeah, we got those.
and we're gonna put the pressure point so it turns on when
We got
you
that
stand
too.
on it. Yep. So I'm probably gonna just ask you guys.
Ask Joey. Joey and his neighbor built the whole thing. It's got a trigger on it, so
Yeah.
I mean, I had to replace the plexiglass top because
a couple times probably.
it's our our first time replacing it because during COVID we had one show and we got hired to play like a barn, like a garage party. It was like a chili cook-off party, and we played maybe to 10, 15 people, but it felt fucking good. They had a dude there with like a legit ass fucking sound system, and we had a blast. Like, we ended up renting this dirty old cabin from this campground I used to go to when I was a kid, and like, we had the best fucking time. And
Here's the only adjustment I want to make.
yeah,
I want to make an adjustment to where I have an XLR input with a sensor on it
has that.
that does a dB volume.
Oh, okay, we don't have that.
So the front lights of the Firebird, the headlights,
Mm-hmm.
they don't turn on until certain decibels have been hit,
Sure, yeah.
and then you direct feed that out of the microphone. So when the singer screams and yells,
Yeah.
the lights turn on.
Yep.
When he's singing subtly, they don't. That's
Joey,
the
whenever
only
you watch
adjustment.
this, get to fucking work, bud. Actually, you can't because it's at my house in the trailer.
And honestly, here's the thing: is not everybody should do the exact same idea.
No, don't
but-
fucking touch it. It's
But
ours.
we should work on everybody having some version of so way back in the day,
Yeah.
before you guys were a thing.
Yep.
Because you guys are the young pups.
Yep, we're
Okay.
children's.
You're babies. Way back then, I saw some band playing in front of a local crowd.
Yep.
On tour, and they had these banners. They had a band name, and then in front of their amps, they had their band logo, or they had their the cover of their album or something. I
Sure.
can't remember what it was,
Yeah.
but it was amazing. I found out later those things were called scrims.
Yep.
And I stole this idea from that band. So I went out to Home Depot and I built these PVC frames.
It's a typical way to do it.
That we could hang our quote unquote scrims from to cover our amps. And then we hand painted our logo with giant pieces of paper that we traced
Yeah.
onto a canvas and blah, 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 blah. And we hung that up, and that became a standard. Okay. And then one of the bands I was in stole another idea where we got an ego box.
Yep.
No lights, no nothing. It was just a box in front of the stage where when I was singing an important part, I could jump up another 6 or 8 inches.
Sure.
And that became a standard.
Yeah.
And then some of these things became contrived because bands were just doing them because you had to do them.
Yeah.
They didn't know how to utilize them, right? They'd have random people up on an ego box, and it just everybody. Here's my point. We need to bring these ideas back because they are part of the presentation.
Oh,
But
for
each
sure.
band needs to do these their own way.
Yeah.
And the only band who's ever allowed to do the Firebird front end ego box is Uncle Daddy,
This
and now whatever band I decide I'm in at that time.
You just gotta pick. I don't care what you do. You just gotta pick a different car.
I'm doing that. I'm
a
building
different car.
enough equity to where I can.
You should do a 98 Ford Taurus and then fuck off.
clip that.
Nope.
Clip that.
Nope.
Somebody clip that.
Nobody's
Nope.
clipping shit.
Hold on. Timestamp. This okay, timestamp. There it is. Boom. Now I'm zooming through. We're timestamping that one.
All right.
Yeah, you should do a 98 to Ford Taurus and then
The
fuck off.
ugliest fucking car ever built. And so
You should do a 98 Ford Taurus and then fuck off. I remember one time I was filling in for the Dying Euphoria. This was before I was their actual singer. And they had a song called Nuclear Wasted.
okay.
And I couldn't hear, understand, or make out any of the lyrics. So I was just improvising random shit. So
Sure.
I was just taking the name of the song and making up a meaning. We played this show at a skate park in front of, I don't know, maybe 30 kids.
Sure. Sometimes those 30 Kids are the best fucking show you'll play, though.
Yeah, I went the other way. So
It's all right.
I was like, hey, this next song's called Nuclear Wasted. It's about getting fucked up. So if any of you are straight edge, fuck you.
Did they all leave?
And instead of the band no one left. Instead of the band starting the song, everyone in the band on stage started laughing so fucking hard we couldn't start the song. Like this intro to this song lasted 45 seconds. 40 of which were the other band members giggling so fucking hard. This next song's called Nuclear Wasted. It's about getting fucked up. So if any of you are straight edge, then fuck you. And literally, it was that's basically what got me into that band. Like
there you go.
They were like, we're in.
We're
like,
in. Sold.
That's the front man of this band.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
It took
I'm
a couple more
yours.
shows before other people backed him up on that idea.
Yeah.
I still maintain to this day it was a mistake.
That's great. Well, there's nothing like, our song, one of my favorite tunes.
That's just what that reminds me of.
Well,
How
no,
about you get a 98 Ford Taurus and then fuck off?
Yeah, just get a 98 Taurus and fuck off. It's basically take the worst car and take your band and fuck off. Honestly, look up a 98 Ford Taurus. It's one of the ugliest piece of shits you'll ever find.
I think I owned one.
You probably did. I think 90% of America owned one. But your story fucking reminds me, we're at Rockfest, right? So
This year.
So Joey and I kind of go back and forth on like the little bit of speaking that goes on in between songs, we have like kind of a set where we kind of bleed songs into the next song, kind of keep things rolling, keep things moving. But we're talking in Boys with Attitude, which is probably one of my favorite tunes on our album, which is probably the one that we're most known for our boys chant. I fucking led the charge on that and led Boys in the completely wrong timing at Rockfest.
Boys.
I did it like
Boys.
half quarter time, whatever that means.
Boys.
So it's like da-na-na, boys, da-na-na. I was like, all right, everybody, let's go, boys. And Skip has a lit cigarette on the other side of the stage, laughing his fucking ass off because he knows how are Webbs and I supposed to time our intro that we play like the lead riff into that. So we've got this entire crowd at Rockfest singing Boys to the completely wrong timing. And Joey, Dan, and Skip are just fucking laughing their dicks off on this fucking giant stage. And I'm like, wow. Here we are, first time in a crowd like this, and we've gone and fucked it right up.
Boys. All on the wrong
So
note.
Skip and Webbs and I had to like remap it out, and we finally got together, and we got everybody on board. But that story reminded me of how I epically fucked up.
That's the sign of a true band, though. That's the sign of a real pro band.
You
It's like
figure
you
it
were
out.
able to either rescale either the riff to bring it on time or re-inspire the crowd to the up. Like one way or another, you got that motherfucker back on point, and that's crucial for you guys re-entering that part of that song. Is the crowd has to be yelling "boys" while you guys come back on.
Yeah, it was interesting. We made it work, but we were having a good laugh on our fucking.
When's your next show?
So not until October.
We're not wrapping this up, fuckers.
No, fuck off. We're not done. So right now, like a lot of the guys were kind of like making up for shit that we missed in 2020, right? So trips. So like a lot of guys are making up for trips and stuff that they had to reschedule. So right now we don't have anything booked until the end of October. We're working on a couple other things, but like we're doing 2 Halloween shows back to back. So we're doing a Halloween show. We're closing the Caboose on October 29th with Japan Van Dam. I don't know if you're familiar.
So you say closing.
So like normally we don't fucking close. Like
Well, hold on, because I changed these terms years and years and years ago.
Headlining.
Okay, so it's
we're headlining the Caboose.
I redid this when the scene was struggling. Like the headliner usually went on last.
Correct.
There was a period where the scene was struggling so badly that no matter who went on last, they had a dead crowd. So the headliner became the third out of four. So we had opener, we had a supporting act, we had a headliner, and then we had a closer.
Sure.
You're not saying that. You're saying headliner.
So I think we're the last band.
I booked bands and called them like, you're not headlining, you're closing.
So we would be the closing headliner. We're closing it and we're headlining the show. So like the other two bands I think are Japan Van Dam is kind of newer. Shout out to Japan Van Dam, cool dudes. And then I think we're figuring out who the opener is. So in other words, Jared, we're playing last. Normally, Daddy likes to play a little early so we can drink some beers. So we can play our set and drink some beers and party. We've historically done...
Like at the Underground Music Cafe.
Yes. Historically, we've actually done very well being the last band. We do when we do our Christmas shows, we always close it out and we've got a good crowd at the end of the night. So this year we're doing back-to-back Halloween shows. So we're doing October 29th, which is a Friday, at the Caboose. And then we're doing October 30th at the Eagles Club with 5 other bands. I don't know all the bands. I
know the Eagles Club. Where the fuck is the Eagles Club?
Dude.
I know that
club.
Like,
yeah, I've told you... I'm a Wisconsin dude. I've lived here for almost fucking 10 years.
Facebook.
I've been here almost 10 years, and I still don't know my fucking way around.
Dude, I've been here for almost 40, and I still don't know my way around.
So, well, that makes me feel a little better. Thank you. So, we are playing... That one is like a charity show that... Shout out to Crystal Slingsby. I'm so sorry that I can't remember the name of the pinup girl group that puts this charity on. But they put a charity on, like they raise money and like school supplies for like different schools. We did this show back in like December 2018 at Lee's Liquor Lounge when that was still going on. But this year they're hosting it at the Eagles Club. And we're playing with our good buddies in Super Modified, which is kind of like a more kind of like rockabilly kind of era type group. And then I don't know the other groups. But we are thinking, we're working on...
Oh, Eagles Club is in Robbinsdale.
It is? Do we have somebody commenting that?
Shout out to
Brad.
Brad.
Yeah, thank you, Brad. Yeah, I'm such a shit. I'm like such not a Minnesotan that I just... People are like, hey, we're going to play here. And I'm like, okay, I'll see you there. You know, I'm
Deets are on the Facebook
Deets
page.
Are on the
links in the description, you guys. If you're curious, if you're watching this, if you're listening,
so
you can find it.
Those events are coming out, and we had like a really solid booked 2020, and obviously all of that went to shit. So we're just kind of catching up on everybody's personal lives shit, and we're getting stuff rolling again in September, October. We're just kind of working out a couple other shows. But those are the next ones. Unfortunately, they're a little further out, but it's just how it goes sometimes.
No, I get it.
And but we are trying to figure out what our Halloween costume this year is going to be. Last time we did a Halloween show at Nison's and Savage, and we were wrestlers. Joey's Randy Macho Man Savage.
There's
I did
5 of you. I got an idea.
I'm really curious to hear what you say because
Power Rangers in jorts.
Oh, fuck.
Power Rangers.
How do we do
jorts.
the helmets?
You don't.
We need the helmets.
No, you don't, is what you do. Here's what you do. I got it figured out.
Okay.
Face paint.
Oh, that could work.
You face paint the helmets on your face. You wear the body. Okay.
Yep, got it.
And then it's a full leotard idea.
Yep,
right?
Got it. Yep, we're into that.
But then you jort them. So you get somebody, you cut them.
Yep.
You get somebody to fold it, seam it right at so you jort the costumes.
Yep.
Wear whatever you want for footwear. You have from the mid thigh up.
Yeah.
You have the thing. Some of you go all the way up to the shoulders.
Yep, I dig
Some
it.
of you leave it long. Whatever. You don't do a helmet. You fuck the helmet.
You just paint it.
Face paint whatever.
My wife's
there you go. Boom. Done.
My wife's a pro makeup artist.
That's what we fucking do here. We come up with genius motherfucking ideas,
so
bruh.
Power Rangers was
and
up.
I'll come in as the White Ranger for the night. You guys do the
Ooh.
originals. I'll either come in as the green or white. I will show
dude,
up.
I'm a Green Ranger, dude. Tommy was...
No, but he's not part of the original 5,
Yeah, I
so
know,
you
but-
can't do that. You have to pick the original 5.
Well, then I'm probably
Red,
going to
yellow,
go...
black. Hold on. Red,
uh,
yellow. Oh, wait.
pink,
yellow.
Pink, yellow,
red,
blue,
black.
black.
Yeah. And then I get to show up as the green or white because I'm
so-
the shit.
Can I... we'll get you on the guest list, bud.
It depends on where you do it. I may not
Yeah.
need it anymore.
Yeah. So...
No, but I do need those.
One
guest
of the
list
other
spots. I'm not
ideas
even
that we
gonna lie.
had-
Keep putting me on those guest list
we
spots, guys.
we kicked around the idea, which is
Do not take my guest spots.
the Golden Girls.
There's only 3 of them.
No, there's 4.
There's 5 band members.
Yes, but we would have 2 of, I forget her name, but the one with the big glasses.
Oh, I got a better one.
Our rhythm section would be 2 of the same.
Ninja Turtles. Joey is Splinter.
Fuck. That one I'm not as crazy about. I like Power Rangers better.
The Power Rangers is better.
You know, if there's anybody in the comments that's got any fucking bitchin' ideas, we did talk about doing Kiss because there was 2 alternate members that had kind of flipped through there. Because let's be
Yeah.
honest, Joey would be a great Gene Simmons. He's got the fucking dick tongue, you know, the dick licking tongue
Sure.
on
Okay.
there. He's got the hair. You know, we could pull it off.
Okay.
But Kiss, I feel like, is kind of overplayed. You know, it's kind of expected.
I feel like the Power Rangers is the baller move.
That's a good suggestion, and we'll take it to court. I'll take it
It'll
to
go to the Senate.
It'll go to the Senate. I'll
It'll
bring
go
it.
to the
I'll bring it
floor.
to the floor, and we will we'll discuss on it. And hopefully, we don't have any filibusters if that's a thing.
Because that's literally exactly, not
That-
even metaphorically, that's literally how politics works.
Now it's the new podcast. Derek and Jared do the government.
That's a great idea. We should totally do a podcast.
We're 2 fucking dudes that don't know shit about politics. Tell you how it really is.
Yeah.
You got a
That's
problem with
basically-
taxes? Me too.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
There's episode 1 right there.
Let's take
They're
it to the floor.
They're 1-minute episodes.
Yeah.
And it's just you say something, and then at the end, I just go, yeah.
Taxes fucking suck.
Yeah. There we go.
Tune in
Boom.
for episode 2, going live next week.
Clip that. Clip that.
Clip
That's our first TikTok episode. Oh, by the way, this podcast only exists on TikTok.
Rip it
That's
and clip it. It's like literally 50, rip it and clip it.
Rip it and clip it.
There you
baby.
go, there you go.
There's another timestamp.
Oh,
That's
shit.
brilliant. I love it, dude. Oh, fuck. That's genius.
Oh.
All right, I got to piss. Let's
Yeah,
play
same.
another song.
All right, what
Let's
are we
play another
jamming?
song. This is the third one. I believe it is one of my favorites. I think I didn't have the ability to play this on the last podcast.
Okay.
Either time Joey was on. It's called Can't Run with the Boys.
Nope, you can't. 'Cause we're too fast. We all got good tennies. Got to work on your sprints, Olympic style. But you can't smoke weed, otherwise you get kicked out. Jared's broken. Might have broke the Jared.
It was the stupidest.
he can't sing no more.
because we're too fast.
We're too fast.
It was so stupid.
We're too quick.
It's like a dad joke. Nope, we're too quick.
Well, it's an Uncle Dad joke. We're too quick. Better put
I'm
on your
fucking
Asics.
Done, dude. I'm fucking
Podcast
done.
is over. We're gonna go
I'm
piss.
fucking done, dude.
Check the
Oh
track.
my god, dude. Yeah. Okay. So this is the third track. Here we go.
Can't
baby.
run. You're too slow.
We're too quick.
We're the poster boys of rock, and we're coming to your town. About to set this stage on fire till they beg us to put it out. We know you're
say it again. Can't run with the boys.
And that's Skip.
Coming in hot or bringing the noise.
Family Guy.
You know, I used to run with the boys.
Still can't run with
I
him.
used to run with the boys. I fucking love it, dude, so much.
Oh, man. We had a lot of laughs when he went in and tracked that.
Can't run, boys.
So we did that whole album like
It's
in a...
so good, dude.
Thank you. Well, it's, I'm onward and forward onto the next one. We're halfway through writing the next one, and I'm looking forward to this one being kind of more of a heavier riff, hard-hitting record. I think this first one we did a good job with, but I'm really looking forward to doing some new stuff with the second one, because we kind of went in with we're going to track the instruments in a weekend, which we did, and then we'll come in and overlay the solos and do the vocals, and this time I want to do a little bit more. It'd be kind of nice to do a little more pre-production too.
Well, and we talked about this before the podcast.
Yeah.
If you want to, I'll make the call.
Make the call.
And yeah, we'll hook you up with my boy.
Who's remind me who? Wally.
Wally.
Yeah.
And this motherfucker has hit a new stride over the 2-3 years.
Okay.
There's something different he's doing now, where he's no longer making every band sound good. He's making each band sound great.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yep.
From an artistic perspective?
Yep. And I love to sound great.
Yeah, but he's making each band sound great instead of every band.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
I'm tracking.
I'll make the call.
Cool.
Make the call, because I'd be really excited, really fucking excited to see what he does.
Yeah, that'd be
I'm
fun.
telling you, you will walk out of there. I'll make the call. Yeah, I'll hook you up with Wally.
Okay.
I gotta get Wally back on the podcast, because he's hooking up with the Revenant Soul Boys now. Some cool shit's happening in the scene, and some of it has to do with this podcast. So I'm extremely honored. I'm extremely proud. I think everyone...
You should be.
I really do think everyone who's watched and supported this podcast, I think everyone, including you, who's been on the podcast,
Yeah.
I'm just so grateful, dude. Like my life has been expanded. It's almost like traveling.
Yeah.
Like, doing the podcast is almost like what we talked about with traveling. Like, relationships build, networks build, like your world gets expanded, your culture, your soul, your identity. And that's what we're doing for the scene. And I'm not alone, man. Shout out to Ritual Madness Podcast, my boy Greg Chilton. Shout out to Joey Moya, your singer, Sweaty Petals, and who's doing a Twitch stream. All of these guys, including John Wheeler, who's doing the Alchemical Cocktail Lounge, in some way, shape, or form, are bringing more and more attention back to Minneapolis and all the incredible talent that is in this town. Not just musicians, writers, directors, comedians. I mean, it is fucking astounding how many insane level, elite level, worldly talents come out of this motherfucking town. And I'm hoping that we can continue to build a culture over the next 2 to 5, 10 years, that you're seeing people from this town for the first time on here, and then they go on to do great things.
Yeah.
That's I would love that. And that's something similar to what Greg's doing, and whether we want to or not, also something what John and Sweaty are doing, because at the end of the day,
Sweaty. I love that Joey is just referred to as Sweaty.
Yeah, that's what they call him on the Twitch community.
The old Twitch community. He's been doing pretty good on that.
Yeah, he's fucking crushing it. I'm super proud of him.
I'm not. I don't give a shit.
I think we should all be getting into that more as well.
Twitch?
Like, oh, you're in a band? Oh, you like playing any video games whatsoever? Figure out how to hybrid, like exactly what your singer has done, Joey, and hybrid your band into gaming.
Dude, so hear this idea. We've been talking about this, is Joey does a live stream where, so think Conan O'Brien and like the Max Weinberg band, but it's fucking Joey, and then he's got Uncle Daddy in the background fucking playing his background music live as he's doing shit.
So it's Joey Moya and the Uncle Daddy 4.
No, we cannot give him that type of power. Come on.
We cannot enable his ego that far.
We cannot give him that at all. He needs to be... I'll never forget this. Somebody at Rockfest said to him, like, you know you're an attention whore, right? Like, yep, I know. It's like the more that you feed the beast will get bigger.
Here's the thing is, like, I don't see that as a problem with Joey.
No, I know. I'm purely talking shit. I'm purely talking shit. My interactions
with Joey is actually that his ego is still a little too small. Like I think, like my interactions with Joey is like he knows he's the shit, but still doubts that. So he and this is also with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because I've never experienced this with him. I don't ever experience the over. But for you guys, he's actually not as confident as you guys think he is.
No,
so he has to like extra project in order to feel, whether right or wrong, whether he gets a voice. He has to over project in order to feel like he gets a voice. Even though you guys respect him enough to where he already has a voice, he doesn't feel that way. So he feels he needs to like get extra attention and validation. And then he's been very open on this podcast about his addiction problems in the past.
Oh, yeah.
And satiation and things like that. So I think there's just like this weird balance. And being a front man, because I've done that job, it's a weird monster to fight.
Oh, yeah. And honestly, this is just all shit talking.
Being a front man is the hardest job to do in a band other than being the drummer. Because being a drummer, you fuck up, everyone knows. Guitar player, you know you didn't fuck up. You just improv that.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, and honestly, that's just me being his best buddy, being, fucking talking shit. Because
Joey, you egotistical piece of shit.
Yeah, we've had
you
these
fucking maniacal.
We've had
midget.
these.
I love you, Joey.
We've had these conversations before, and actually, his sobriety date is my birthday.
No shit.
Yeah, so we've had this conversation many times, he and I, and no, we love him to death,
so
and
every year
we're
on
proud
your birthday,
of him.
He sober cabs you from the bar.
No, I get him really fucked up, and I ruin his special day, and I have a really great birthday. Like, hey, try this crack. It ain't so bad.
Are you a Sunny fan?
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Yeah. Oh, big time.
Because the way you went to crack so fast.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever tried
be
crack?
A Sunny fan.
You would love it.
The only way somebody goes to crack that fast is if they're a Sunny fan.
Yeah.
I try to get them to smoke crack.
Oh, Logan, when does Daddy see themselves releasing new music? Good question. Well,
finally somebody puts in a question.
Yeah, I think I'm probably like the most uninteresting guest you've had so
far. There's a grip of people in here.
So
jumping in and out.
Yeah, buddy. I think we're like maybe 6. We've probably got 6 to 8 songs that are kind of floating in the hopper right now, and I think there's a handful of them that we're kind of. Do we do some? Is this worth recording, or is it just something that we could throw into the live show? So I'm hoping. Well, I don't have a definitive answer. We've got a few songs we got to put into it yet.
How many minutes worth of new music do you have?
Minutes?
Brand new.
I can tell you number of songs, but I don't know minutes.
Okay, let's average them out at 3.5.
Okay, so 5 songs, 20 minutes, somewhere in there. 25, 30.
Okay.
5, 6.
So we're looking at an EP.
Right now, we're probably at about an EP. I think we've got an idea of what we want to call.
I don't even know if you should do an LP anymore.
Like
Logan, you're obviously still in chat, buddy. I'm interested in your thoughts as well, because these are some of the newer, younger school kids.
Oh yeah,
who are rolling with the biz.
Yep.
And these dudes like do this weird. They're like manipulating the algorithm, right? So like Spotify and these streaming services incentivize you to release singles.
Oh, I didn't.
So like, let me rephrase that. The way they incentivize you to do singles is this idea. So every time you drop content on Spotify, that content in and of itself is potential to go on a playlist.
Oh, okay.
So bands, like a popular playlist, like a trending playlist.
Yeah.
So bands are less incentivized to drop 12 songs on an album.
Sure.
Because only one track goes to the playlist.
Yeah.
So what a lot of kids are doing nowadays is they're dropping each song individually as a single.
Yeah.
And then later compiling them into a major release. That make sense?
Yep. No, that does make sense. And actually, one of the things we've been talking about doing is we've been talking with a couple of our buddies who are video producers. Or, we've got kind of a good visual component to our group. And that we've got a couple songs that we want to get done as singles, but, accompanied by bitchin' music videos. Video content is huge. I mean, Instagram is changing their whole platform and algorithm
100%.
now to video to try and keep up with TikTok.
Yep.
And so, yeah, as far as an album, I mean, we're writing the material, but I think we're looking at trying to get a couple singles done so we can get some videos made.
I like it. Let's make some calls.
Let's
put
do
some things together. I'll hook you up with Wally.
I like it.
Because I know you're good enough to work with Wally.
Well, thank you.
If it's I'm saying this for a reason, because if it doesn't work out, it's timing.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's 3 or 4 videographers I think I hook you up with.
Yeah.
All guys who've done music videos for people who've been on the podcast.
Okay.
I'm gonna put together a short list.
Sure.
I'm gonna say, dude, I'm so excited. Because this has already been starting to happen over the last year of doing this podcast, and we're starting to do this. We're starting to do what the original goal was to build a bigger group of people that are all dope as fuck and start putting those teams together so the product and the end result is even doper than it would have been.
Sure.
Exactly like in LA, exactly like in New York. We're doing that right fucking now. And now it doesn't need to come through just your own personal relationships and connections that you've built through your life.
Yeah.
Because that's what Minneapolis was built on. Minneapolis is literally built on who you know.
Yeah.
Who are you friends with? Who's willing to give you a favor? Who's willing to give you a shot? In LA, it's everybody here is dope. Are you dope? Let's work together. Let's put out something super dope, captivate the country.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do here.
Yeah.
And we've started. It's starting to work. The snowball is officially rolling, which has given me more fucking fuel, confidence, and inspiration to keep going than anything that happened since then. And it's all been happening in the last 30 to 60 days. It's incredible. The scene we've built, let me rephrase that. The scene we're building.
Yeah.
The scene we're rebuilding.
Yeah.
To pay respect to the scene that we already. That's what I meant.
Yeah, and that's awesome because I love that you've had our buddies in Issue, Revenant Soul, Stormbreaker. All of our buddies that we do a lot of fun shows with. It's neat to see everything that you're doing too for local music, and it's a lot of fun to be here, buddy. I really appreciate you having me on.
I appreciate you coming, brother.
Well, thank you. I have had nothing but a great time.
It's been very, very good to get to know you tonight.
Likewise.
I really appreciate it, man. This has been an absolute blast. Joey, you were right, bro. This has been an absolute blast. The Stormbreaker boys, by the way, they've worked with Wally.
Yep. Okay.
For a long time. Revenant Soul is hooking up with Wally. So there's good bands already working with this dude. I'm telling you, this dude was already dope back in the day working with bands, and he is bands from back in the day. And he's gonna do my album.
Oh, nice.
So
when you showed me some of your guys' demos, which I was very fond of as well.
Which he hasn't even touched yet.
Still.
Which that's the hilarious part. You think my shit is even remotely dope? Those demos I played, and you guys have all heard it on the podcast. The demo, Wally hasn't touched a goddamn thing I've done. because my shit ain't good enough for him yet. That's the reality. Stormbreaker, Revenant Soul, and I think you guys are good enough to work with Wally. Wally's willing to work with me, but I'm not putting up a product that I feel is good enough to submit to Wally yet.
Sure.
That's,
that's
again,
fair enough.
going back to what we talked about
Yeah,
at the
exactly.
beginning. I'm my own worst critic, right?
Yep.
So
He might be looking and be like, oh, it sounds good.
And
you're
he's done that. He's actually, this is workable. And I go, no, it's not. Like, I just wanted to see if it was.
Yeah.
So now that I know it is, okay. So my minimum standard of even asking if this is okay, if he gives me the seal of approval, anything I do above and beyond this is still going to be okay. So now I know where the limit is. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
No, but man, thank you so much for coming out tonight. If anybody's curious, if anybody wants to, you can go to Uncle Daddy and all their socials, including Derek's individual social. All the links are in the description. Something's going on with your website, uncledaddy.com.
Is it working?
No.
It's not?
Maybe you need to hit up my other sponsor, We Host Werner Elements.
No, tell me the truth. Is our website not working?
No, it's not. And that's why I didn't list it in the description. So
it was working, Joey.
Yeah, let's hook you up with my other boy. Let's hook you up with the other part of the network. So We Host Werner Elements. Use my stupid promo code at the beginning of the podcast.
Okay.
Singer. And you guys can get the new, you already have a domain, but you'll want to flip it. And you get unlimited and anything that matters.
Yeah.
Emails, bandwidth, storage space, everything.
Oh.
Go to fucking wehost.wernerelements.com. He's one of the sponsors. Fucking do it. It used to be, he took over something called TC Bands.
Okay.
TC Bands for 30 years has had the best pricing efficiency on web hosting.
Okay.
Anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And Scott recently took.
Okay.
Go there, do that. It'll be fixed.
Apologies that our website's not working. We had a bunch of merch get sold.
We didn't put the link in the description. We put the link to everything that is working.
It's www.fuckingdaddysbroke.com. So it looks like you're buying your own tennis shoes for school.
That's not the website name. But that's what
it's supposed to be uncledaddy.com, but something's not working.
You still own the domain, don't get me wrong. But
yeah. Apparently something's
right now.
I think our hosting is wrong, or maybe somebody didn't pay their bills.
We're going to get all this solved. We're getting all this solved. When you leave here tonight, I'm literally... Before your wife even gets here, we're going to wrap this up, guys. I'm going to hit the outro. While the outro's playing and your wife gets here, I'm going to call Wally. We're going to start making this happen as soon as we hit this. All right. We love you guys. Hit like,
you guys.
subscribe.
Thank you so much for hanging out. It's been a blast. Jared, brother, before you go, thank you for having me, man.
I love you.
It's been a great blast.
I
love you too.
You're a great guy.
Likewise.
Seriously, I feel like we became friends tonight.
That's what I'm all about. Friendships. So hug your friends, hug your family, make rock and roll, and don't.
I got to make a phone call, but do you want to skip that and just make out?
Sure. Cool. Get this off here.